again, and welcome to the newest episode of the Theater Enthusiast and Other Things podcast. Our next guest on the podcast, this is literally our first time meeting.
First time.
We're kind of like, quote unquote, introduced via like Facebook Messenger by a mutual friend of ours, Elliot. But you know, without further ado, let's give it up for Tim Realbuto. Did I say it right?
Realbuto, yeah.
Tim Realbuto! Yay! Oh, this isn't loud enough.
Louder, people.
Yay!
Thank you.
Oh my God, they're going crazy
They're
for
going
you.
nuts for me.
Now
What?
the applause died down. Well, you are like an award-winning.
They stop so quickly.
Well, they tend to. You are an award-winning actor, which we will get into.
Recently, yes.
Which is very
Just within
exciting.
the
We
last
can just
year.
talk about it. So,
Sure.
Tim, I did a little research on you, and you know I don't know you that well because again this is like our first time like officially meeting, but you've been working pretty steadily for like 10, 15 years?
I mean, I started acting when I was 5 years old, but that was like
2 years ago.
So 2 years ago, no,
Out of
that would
utero.
be like 30 years ago, and
Okay.
that was a lot of community theater and regional theater, and then
Well, let's start. Where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn. I'm still
Brooklyn.
born, raised, still
Do
living.
you live in Brooklyn?
Yep.
We're not saying where though, because
No.
we don't want people to stop you.
We don't want the paparazzi to show.
No photos, guys. Stop it.
No, I've always lived in Brooklyn.
Oh, just really quickly, because I am currently drinking out of it, and I feel like I always forget. As always, the hot priest candle is lit. I'm not drinking out of the candle, but I am drinking out of my hot priest mug. Tim, tell the kids at home what you're drinking out of.
I'm drinking out of an Angels in America mug.
Which is another repeat mug. I don't have as many theater mugs as I learned that Tim has.
I have a huge collection of
But
theater
read
mugs.
the back.
Okay, the back says, "Fuck you, I'm a prophet."
You know, that's how I feel in my daily life. I am a little psychic, actually.
I
but
love it. I don't have this mug. We know what I have. I have like the souvenir cups that I got my soda in when I went to see it.
Well, I went to see Pretty Woman, which is my guilty pleasure musical.
Is
and
it?
people are like, why are you seeing it? I'm like,
I
leave
saw
me
it too.
alone. I saw it 7 times.
Oh.
No shame. But I
No
also
shame, go
like
for it.
I also got to meet Adam Pascal, which
Oh,
was
yeah,
like
he's great.
Which was a huge deal for me. And then after I met him, I went across the street and I hysterically cried because he was like one of the Broadway people. Like, you know, there's like very specific people that you need to meet.
Sure, absolutely.
And he was one of them. And
Yeah.
I even had his like first CD, Model Prisoner, that somebody
Yeah.
gifted me in 8th grade.
I was a big Aida head, so I get it.
That's where my love for him
Yeah.
started. And so I actually brought the CD with me for him to sign.
Oh.
And he did.
That's
It was so great.
cool.
And I have the photo of him and I framed in my room.
I love it.
Again, it's a very big deal that I met him, and they have this website Cameo, which maybe you should join.
Oh yes,
Where-
I've heard of Cameo.
yeah,
I have
so-
a few friends in Cameo.
Yeah, so I like planted the seed in my friend's head. I'm like, you know, Adam Pascal is on Cameo, and so for my birthday, she got me Adam Pascal.
That's great. I don't know who would buy my Cameo yet. We'll see.
Well, you have like a big Instagram following.
Yeah.
And I also think it like depends on how much like there's this one actor who I don't want to like name names because I don't want to say like whether or not they're worth that amount of money because I also like really like this actor. It's like nothing against him or her. It's a him. But my friend, she got a promotion at her old job and I'm like, ooh, let me get her a Cameo, and he was originally $15. And then cut to like a few months later, she gets a new job, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should get the same person to do a Cameo. Now it's like $50.
Oh, I would never charge $50. Not yet.
Well, Adam Pascal
Mine would
is
be like
only
$5 right now.
Yeah, maybe 10. Adam Pascal is 30, to which my friend is like, he can charge so much more
Yeah,
money.
he can charge more than that.
Yeah, there are certain people who are like, it's really interesting to see how much they like charge people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just find that interesting. And I'm like, but are you really? I'm like, yeah, it makes sense that you are that much.
Yeah, I have friends on there. My friend Joshua Colley is on there, and Annalisa Vanderpool, and Jenna Lee Green.
I have a friend who's friends with her.
With Annalisa?
Yeah.
She lived with me for,
like That's So
for
Raven,
for 6
right?
months. We lived together.
Yeah, from That's So Raven?
Yes.
Yeah, my friend Tall is name dropping. She's actually very good friends with her.
She's mentioned him.
Her?
Her. I've
She's
heard that
mentioned
name
Tall
before. I've heard
Yeah,
Tall before.
Tall Tallulah Fox.
I've
Well,
heard
that's
the
not
name
her.
Tall before.
Yeah.
We lived together for a while. In
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
Tall's one of my very good friends from college. If she was in New York, I would have her come on
Yeah,
the
she's
podcast.
not. She's not anymore. No, she's back in LA.
Well, no, I met my friend Tall, not
Oh.
Anna. I've never met. Although she.
Annalisa's back in LA too.
Yeah. Well, she's doing the That's So Raven
reboot.
Mm-hmm. I will say, though, I was working at a hotel because I work at hotels, and she actually, like, walked into the lobby, and she was, like, across my desk. I'm like, and she was on the phone, but I'm like, I wonder if I should say something to her that we have a mutual friend.
She would love that.
I didn't.
No, she's very sweet.
I didn't. I did see a show with her once because we were just in the mezzanine together seeing the same show.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyway, so you're from Brooklyn. You did community theater.
Yeah, a lot of community theater and then some regional theater and then a couple of smaller things in film. Like when I was 12, I did a very small bit part in a Woody Allen movie.
Which one?
Deconstructing Harry.
Do you, like, now that all of that stuff that came out about him, which is like, he said, she said, and there was like, whatever, do you feel bad that you were in a Woody Allen movie now?
I never really thought about it because it's not like what pops up, number one thing that pops up when you Google me, but I'm the first one to admit that when I was on that set, because I was only on that set for maybe 3 days, I'm the first one to admit that he was a nut job and a crazy person to work for and just absolutely bonkers. But it was my first film job, so I didn't say a word.
And you were 12.
I was 12.
Yeah.
He was crazy, though. He was crazy. So I don't really feel... I was 12. I don't really feel bad for being in a movie. I didn't
Yeah, I mean, you were 12. I don't know. I mean... Well, getting on the Woody Allen track, like, it just sucks because some of his movies are just really good. And he has this movie,
I agree. Some of his movies are very good.
I was actually watching it the other day. It was on, and I love Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Yep. I actually own it on DVD. I think I also own Match Point. And Match Point, he wasn't actually in, but it was such a departure from, like, all of his other types of films.
Yes.
And spoiler alert, but, like, the lead actor literally gets away with murder. And it was such a good movie. And then he followed it up with, like, Vicky Cristina Barcelona. And
it's also different from his normal style.
And so is, like, Blue Jasmine was kind of like the Bernie Madoff case meets Streetcar. And I had to say, like, he writes parts where, like, women win awards.
Win Oscars, absolutely. I loved Mighty Aphrodite. It's one of my favorite comedies.
I didn't actually see that.
Oh, it's so funny.
I know that Mira Sorvino.
Mira Sorvino won her Oscar for it. She was so funny.
Yeah, and like Diane Weiss won an Oscar for like
Bullets Over Broadway.
Yeah,
which is great.
And then you had like Penelope Cruz.
Penelope Cruz.
Penelope
Cruz's first line in that movie is vodka.
Vodka.
She was vodka.
I have vodka in my freezer if you want.
Oh.
I'm not a big drinker. I mean, I have all of this wine.
There's a lot of wine.
Yeah, I have a holiday party every year, and up until like 10 years ago, I was like, nobody bring anything.
Everyone brings wine.
No. Yeah, but the story is, because I would also like get the cheap wine from the grocery store that's not like real wine.
$2 Chuck.
One year I had like a mental breakdown while like frosting a cake, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And like everybody's fine with like bringing things, and they say bring like a food or drink for you to share, and you know a lot of times people bring wine, it just accumulates over the years.
Yeah. So. Yeah. A lot. I know. I get it. I always bring wine to parties.
Yeah.
That never gets drunk.
It's just easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm also like not a big drinker, and then like if
I can't cook, so I bring wine.
Yeah. No. Also at the same time too, I'm like, well, what if I like open a bottle of wine and have a glass, and then like this entire big bottle of wine is going to be empty because I'm not going for a second glass. That's why I rather just like if I'm out at like a restaurant or something, then I'll have wine.
Yeah. I like a good like glass of red wine, a Cabernet.
Yeah. I like more of a sweet side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really that picky with my wine.
Yeah, I don't like dry.
I do like it.
Yeah. But... I have a guy friend who really likes wine, and so, like, whenever we go out to, like, eat and I want wine, I'll be like, what wine am I getting? And he'll be like... And then he'll, like, look at the menu, and he takes his, like, wine and cheese very seriously.
Oh, no, not me.
And...
I'm like, House Red, that's my favorite.
Yeah. Whatever's cheaper under the bar.
Exactly.
Or I'll just be like, ooh, look, a sugary cocktail. I had, like, vodka lemonade the other day, but when I went out for my birthday in January, I had, like, 4 pomegranate martinis.
Well, I was just in South Carolina for a film festival, and that was in South Carolina, there's nothing to do but drink at night. It's a beautiful town. We went to Beaufort. But me and like all the film people were just every single night like sweet tea, vodka, just like all the fun.
Actually, I have sweet tea, vodka right here.
Yes.
This is how bad I am with alcohol. This bottle is probably like 5 years old.
Yeah, it looks a little dusty.
So is the vodka still good though?
I'm not an expert.
Yeah, if anybody knows, let me know.
If anybody knows, because
the bottle is dusty, but it doesn't mean that the
that doesn't mean the inside.
Is.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I tried to do?
We can always try it and see if we die.
I tried to, like, collect snow and then put the vodka in it to see if I can make like a snow vodka lemonade. So it didn't work.
Oh, no.
It just melted it. Anyway, so now that we get sidetracked a lot in this.
That's fine. Me too.
Podcast.
I get sidetracked in life.
It's a story of my life. That's why we're like now friends. I feel like you and I are gonna be like best friends now. We're the same. I'm an inner gay man and a strong black woman, so it's fine. Mostly the inner gay man thing. I love musical theater, guys, and I'm obsessed with guys. I'm just on like a Harry Styles kick for the past like month.
Harry Styles.
He's so nice to look at.
He's very nice to look at.
Yeah.
I agree.
We just talk about Harry Styles, right?
This is now a podcast about Harry Styles.
No, welcome to the podcast about Harry Edward Styles. It's sad that I know this. But here's also the other thing. Like, one of my best friends, she finds him very hot too. And like, I can talk to her about my Harry Styles thing because she gets it. And I'm like, ooh, his concert. And she's like, yeah, I think he's hot, but like, I don't want to sit at his concert. And then I'm watching like all of these clips on like Instagram with like all of his friends. And I'm like, I'm in my 30s. I don't want to deal with them. But you know, at the same time, like in our age bracket, because I'm 33, you're 35. Mm-hmm. You know, that was the era of like the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
Yeah, I love the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, so like
I went to their concert.
Me too, and I was also like obsessed with O-Town.
O-Town.
Yes, Liquid James. Yeah.
Jesse McCartney. Which band was that he was in?
Jesse McCartney was not in a band. He was solo.
But they had a band. He had a band beforehand. Yeah, look it up. Because one of the kids from that band, which I can't think of the name of right now, went to college with me.
Oh, interesting. Well, then Jesse... Google. Jesse McCartney boy band. Okay, Dream Street. That's right.
Dream Street. That's what. One of the kids from Dream Street went to college with me. Frankie was his name, and we were in the same dorm. I have no idea where he is now.
All right, so now that we're anyway, like Harry Styles really.
Hi, Frankie.
Hi, Frankie. Just like Harry, I feel bad being like I don't have the patience for them, but also at the same time, like if he was around when I was that age, like you know the teeny bopper age, like then I would be like, oh my God! You know, I don't know. Also, just, like, have no money to spend on anything. And then he's doing, like, 2 concerts at, like, Madison Square Garden on Halloween, and I'm just like...
With Jesse McCartney?
No,
oh,
Harry
Styles. I was like,
I'm like, do I really want to go?
Yeah, might be fun.
It might be. We'll see. But I also said to my friend, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be into Harry Styles by October.
Maybe by October you'll be done.
Yeah, by October I might be onto, like, someone else, you know?
It takes me a very long time to realize that I love an artist enough to, when I know I love them enough, that's going to be a forever thing, I'll tattoo a lyric of them on my body. And so far I only have 2.
Which are? Liquid Dreams by O-Town.
They did not change voice, no.
Every 6 Seconds by O-Town. A lot of their songs were very sexual.
Oh, well, a lot of boy songs
even the song they did for the Dr. Dolittle movie... We fit together. I want to go all night. Ain't no stop until the breaking of the... I like how this podcast isn't even about you anymore.
Aaliyah had that song on that Dr. Dolittle album, right?
I don't remember that song.
That old...
No, that's not
And
her.
the little baby going...
Oh, yeah. I remember. I started to sing it, and then I was like, no, that's Destiny's Child.
No, it's totally Aaliyah. Yeah.
Well, no, the song I was...
Yeah.
What
okay, yeah, I have Alanis Morissette, You Live, You Learn.
So I'm assuming you've seen Jagged Little Pill?
First preview, yes.
Perfect.
And then I have Pink, Don't Let Me Get Me.
I'm going to the first preview of How I Learned to Drive because if people have been consistently listening to this podcast, they know it's a very big deal because I directed that show in college.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And it's a very big deal. Also, and I saw like the off-Broadway revival like 6 times.
Yeah, my best friend said that's the thing he's most excited to see.
I'm most excited about that and Company. And then I really like this British band named Keane.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so they're actually going to be at the Beacon on the 28th. And I spent a lot of money on my ticket. And I
just saw Alanis for the 10th time at the Apollo.
Yeah.
And spent a lot of money on my ticket.
I saw my guest last week, Tara. She just saw Jagged Little Pill, and that's the show she talked about at the end of the podcast. And she was just like,
"It's great.
I have to see it.
It's beautiful."
I could have seen it.
And I have my buddy Derek's in it as well.
Oh. I could have seen it. I had availability through work to see it. They gave out free tickets, but I'm like, motherfucker! I just bought tickets to see Macbeth with Corey Stoll.
That was a thing?
Yep, that was.
I didn't hear about that one.
Is that Classic Stage Company?
Oh.
I also just like really love Corey
before.
Stahl. He's just like weirdly sexy to me. Fuck it, he's just sexy. Okay. And his wife was in the show with him. I just thought the show was kind of boring, but that doesn't mean that the cast wasn't very good.
Right.
I didn't get like it wasn't until like towards the end where like Malcolm, they were talking to Malcolm, and then I was like, oh, now I'm interested. And luckily the show was only an hour and a half.
Yeah, Macbeth is one of his shorter plays. I've seen a couple.
Well, I think they also cut a lot of stuff out. Normally Shakespeare's like 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
They're doing Hamlet.
Or even longer. Like Hamlet is 4
Hamlet's
and a half.
like well, the production that Andrew Scott, aka the priest, aka Hot Priest, did in London. Ironically, I was in London 3 years ago when they were doing it, and I'm like, I can't sit through Hamlet. And like, of course, now I'm obsessed with Andrew Scott.
I saw the Jude Law one on Broadway.
I saw it too. He was the only good part.
He was the only good part of it. I'm sorry.
No, and that so Gugu, that actress, Gugu.
Oh, the one who played Lady Ophelia was bonkers.
But I will say, like, she has a very successful career now. And what's interesting is that Andrew Garfield is now like Andrew Garfield. But when I was in college, I worked at a theater called the Schimmel where they film inside the Actors Studio. And so I worked, and I was an usher there. So, like, the events when they needed ushers, I would work. So they had the I can't speak English apparently, the Tribeca Film Festival down there. Yeah. And they had this movie called Boy A, and Andrew Scott was in it. Not Andrew Scott, I'm sorry. Andrew Garfield was in it. And I was like, who is this beautiful man? And so, like, I would Google him, and he actually did a production of Romeo and Juliet as Romeo, and that Gugu... I don't remember her name. No, her first name is Gugu. Gugu. Yeah, Gugu great name. I'm going to butcher it. But she played Juliet opposite as Romeo. So I kind of, like, always remember that. And then when they announced him as Spider-Man, I was like, oh, it's the guy from Boy A. And then when I went to see Angels in America for the second time, I actually ran into a family friend of mine, or like a friend of mine, and she was with her aunt, and her aunt likes to stage door. So I'm like, I'll stage door with you. And I'm like, oh, I can tell Andrew Garfield, like, I've been a fan of his since, like, Boy A. And I was like, I always wanted to, like, meet you and tell you I've been a fan of yours since Boy A. And he's like, oh, wow, thank you. But, you know, it was like... the stage door happened, and then they, like, closed, so it was a line, and then everybody came out to sign, and there was Andrew Garfield's time to come out, so they, like, moved the barricades more to, like, a triangle, and you can just see everybody go whoosh. Yeah. But, like, as soon as, like, he signed, everybody left. Right. So it wasn't, like, standing there. Right. You know?
I haven't stage doored in so long.
Well, the last time I stage doored was... I haven't... really stage door since college, but like there's certain people I will. The last time I did it was to meet Laura Linney. My name is Lucy Barton, and I met her before, and I cried, and she touched my elbows, and I cried again when I met her, like a fool, but it's fine because I love her. And I was the only one at the stage door waiting for Laura Linney, except me and an autograph seeker. Oh, which I was like, motherfucker. They don't like them. Well, she's and the autograph seeker was actually really nice. But I was like, why are you here to ruin my Laura Linney moment? And I was like crying. You need your moment. And then I said to him, I'm like, do you want to like, because I even asked for a photo, and I was like, do you guys want to like, you know, do your thing and so I can collect myself? And they were like, oh no, it's fine. Don't worry. Like, yeah. But she's just like a gem of a human. Oh, that's and she's great. Like, you waited outside. Like, I love you.
That's so nice to hear when they're nice.
All right, now that we've like gone off the rails for like an hour, so... back to you being 12, being in a Woody Allen movie.
It was a really good experience, my first time on a set, but I got a funny story. I do a one-man show called Wonderkind. It's not really a one-man show, but I talk about my life, and I have like Broadway guest stars come in and play different people. And I've toured it around, but this is one of the stories I tell. Woody Allen saw the costumers. I went like a week before to get fitted for my costume. It was a really beautiful burgundy coat, like a dress jacket, because I was a bar mitzvah boy. So then the day I'm on the shoot, he's looking at me and looking at me and looking at me. He's like, I will not shoot with that coat. And he's like, I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? The costumers come running over to me, and they're like, he wants the buttons changed. And I was like, okay. He wants them covered in velvet. And I was like, okay. So we had to stop for like an hour so the costumers could just sew velvet over every button. You do not see it in the movie for anything. Like it was the most crazy waste of time, but that's his head. Like everything, he's such a perfectionist that everything has to be exactly as he sees it. So I learned something from him. I learned, like, if you want something on set, you got to fight for it. That was a little small for me. It was kind of, at the time I was like, this is crazy. But as I get older, I'm like, yeah, you do have to fight for what your vision is.
Yeah.
So I did learn that from him. Like it was his set, and he could do what he wants, and he had the money to do it. But he wouldn't let anybody look at him. Like you weren't allowed to like look him in the eyes, and you weren't allowed to take any photos of him or with him. And like he would like talk to you, but like talk kind of at his PA, who would then kind of tell you what to do. It was a very weird experience because directors, I've never worked with a director like that who was not hands-on. He was the least like hands-on director. He was weird. He was a weird dude. He was a weird dude.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that. The Emperor's Club.
Emperor's Club was completely different from Woody
Which
Allen.
is funny because like I actually like know that movie and I've seen it. And I was like, oh my god, like somebody on my podcast is gonna be in that movie. Like, was in that movie, but I don't remember that.
That's okay. I was one of his students, and I was 16.
Yeah.
So I don't really look like myself.
How is Emil Hirsch?
I loved working with Emil Hirsch.
Yeah.
I know there's some issues with him now, being difficult. I loved working with him. It was one of his first movies, not his first, but one of his first couple of movies. He was very friendly to me. I loved working with Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Jesse Eisenberg could sit right here with us and talk musical theater as much as we can. He is a musical theater dork.
He actually talked about it because he's also a playwright. Yes. And I saw his show that he wrote with Susan Sarandon, that was at the Signature Theater, even though it was New Group, and I can't think of the name of it, but he was on one of the talk, I think maybe like Seth Meyers talking about, so it's about this woman who gets cast in like a Jewish community production of like South Pacific, and they were talking about like his love of musical theater as well.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, I feel like he seems like he's a certain way, but he's really not. Like, I thought he was great on Saturday Night Live as the host.
He was. He's got so much. I think he's so talented.
Yeah.
And when I knew him, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
Very awkward, but like in a fun
way. I think that's
like,
what it is. I think there's just like this awkwardness to him. It's like kind of like the same thing with Michael Cera, where you think they're going to be a certain way. But I had to tell you, like, I mean, I didn't see Lobby Hero, which I really did. And it's funny because the 3 times that Michael Cera was on Broadway was in a Kenneth Lonergan show. And I saw him in This Is Our Youth and the Waverly Gallery, which was just such an incredible piece of theater.
Agreed.
And he was great in both shows. Yeah, he was. And I think that...
I thought he was great in This Is Our Youth. He was really good.
Oh, he was wonderful. I didn't, like, love the girl, but...
Me too.
She's going to be in Assassins.
Which I just did last year.
I can't remember.
Which is one of my favorite theatrical experiences.
We'll get into it, even though we keep getting sidetracked.
Nobody from my cast got into the off-Broadway production. That's okay.
It's fine.
We're all very bitter.
It is what it is. I'm sure this isn't the only production of Assassins that's going to happen in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't think. Well, other than Stephen Pasquale, I don't think anybody else from the City Center production.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's just Stephen Pasquale. I think Will Swenson was supposed to be in this production, and then he's not anymore. I could be wrong. Moving on. So how did you go from like? Did you get an agent at a certain age, or like how did that work?
Yeah, I had a manager, not really an agent. It's like a kids manager who would only work with kids and teenagers, and they told me about the Emperor's Club was an open call. It was crazy. Yeah. There were hundreds and hundreds of people and just auditioning, and we had to do like an interview on camera. Kevin Kline watched all of the tapes, and he like picked who he wanted to be his students in the movie. So I got the call that I'm gonna have to leave school for about a month and get an on-set tutor. It was my junior year of high school, and I learned so much during that month about acting and about
Who did you learn that from? Kevin Kline?
Kevin Kline. Kevin Kline, just watching him work is like a master class like you wouldn't believe. And then just talking to him, he's the most intelligent man you ever want to meet. He knows everything about film, everything about theater. He is so smart and so he's just very the way he presents
Yeah.
himself. He's very professional but kind and giving, and like he would never go to his trailer. He would always come sit with me, like me, Jesse, Emil, Paul Dano, and like all the rest of the class would always sit at like lunch at the same table. There were like 12 of us, I don't remember, and Kevin would come sit with us and have lunch instead of going off by himself. So he was very like fatherly, like a teacher in that way. So he was amazing. He was just amazing, and the director Michael Hoffman was amazing. It was a lot. It was a lot, long days, but I definitely learned a lot about what it means to make a movie doing that.
Do you think Kevin Kline also showed you what it's like to be that type of actor? You know, if you were to ever, I mean, because I know in this film, yes, like you're kind of the lead. You know, do you think you took what you learned from him and like brought it to set?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely, yes. He does this thing that he gets into a character well before the camera starts rolling, and that by the time he starts and he's building up and he builds it up, and by the time they say action, like the director doesn't even bother him and say Kevin, do this, do that. He's in his world, and then they'll just say action. He begins. You know what I mean? He doesn't have. He takes a few minutes so that by the time the camera's about to roll, he knows basically how long it's going to take. He doesn't have to think. He's just already there, and that's the main thing I took from him was like, okay, I got to get ready earlier on in this. Like, you know, when they call cut, don't really just get out of it so quickly. Try to stay in the moment and try to. It was very much about living in the moment with him.
Yeah.
And it's hard because my role in Yes was very, very dark, so it's hard to live in that headspace.
We'll get there. So, did you go to college?
I did. I went to Five Towns College, which is like
Long Island.
Long Island. It's a
I
private
think
school.
like 2 of the people from Maroon 5 went there.
Yeah,
Adam Levine and
Adam Levine went there.
Jesse Valentine?
I don't know. Adam Levine did go there, and do you know Chrisette Michele, the singer? Chrisette Michele.
No.
She won a Grammy. Or was nominated for a Grammy. We actually went to school together at Five Towns, and she's an amazing singer.
What did you study at Five Towns?
Acting.
What made you decide to go to Five Towns?
Because it was a smaller program, and the head of the department promised that, you know, I would be doing a lot of work. There wasn't, freshmen were allowed to be in whatever they wanted to. A lot of schools, they make you wait a certain, like, you know, a year before you could do a play. And I knew it was a smaller program. And another friend of mine from high school was going there, and I was so afraid to go to college by myself. That definitely helped. So all those things.
Did you audition for any other schools other than Five Towns?
Yeah, a bunch.
I know it was kind of a little while ago.
It was a while ago.
I don't mean to age us.
AMDA, I got into AMDA. Didn't go there. I heard a lot of weird things about it. I have heard good and bad about it.
You know, a lot of different colleges, like you mentioned, you had to wait a while. I think with AMDA, you can't really outside audition.
Cannot outside audition at AMDA. That was a big no-no for me. Because if I needed to leave college for something, I would. Yeah.
I went to Pace University. And one of their big things was like, we encourage you to audition outside of the program.
Oh, that's great.
You know, and I mean, the program is a lot different now than when I went. And a lot of people I've had on the podcast, I know from college. And, you know, it's the same thing for them. And, you know, everybody has their own different experiences in college. So you went for acting. Do you sing at all?
Well, I started for...
I mean, obviously, you're an Assassins.
Yes. I actually started as a singer. Musical theater was my only thing I wanted to do. And then halfway, and I actually did... Or actually, I did go to college for musical theater, first 2 years, and then they added an acting major, and I switched over to acting.
Makes you feel any better? I auditioned for musical theater. I didn't get in.
Really?
Yeah, but then I took an acting for the musical theater. I'm gonna a lot on this podcast. I talk about how great I am.
Go for it.
Which I am. Toss. But I took an acting for the musical stage class, and people were like, why aren't you in musical theater? I was like, thanks. No. But honestly, I think it worked out because I'd rather be like an actor who can sing as opposed to a singer who can act, if that makes sense.
I agree.
And I feel like if you're with acting, this is just my own personal thing. like everybody's process is different, you know, and I just think for me, like being an actor who can sing, I think it's just a little bit easier for me to try and figure out like the meaning of a song, even though I haven't done like a musical since I was in like 6th grade.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Can you believe it?
No.
I haven't been cast in a lot of things, and I don't know why. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I did musical theater growing up. Besides, the couple little film things I did. Mainly musical theater all throughout high school. Did a couple plays in high school, but mainly musical theater. In college, it was a mixed bag. I got the small program was wonderful because I got to do a play at the same time I was doing a musical. And then halfway through, I think it was my sophomore year, they added the acting major if you wanted to take that instead of the musical theater major. And I went to that because I thought it was more, not that a musical theater major is a bad thing to have. I just thought that with an acting degree, it's just I can maybe teach with it, or I could do private coachings, or it really didn't make a difference. But like
at the time,
I started getting right. At the time, I thought maybe it would make a difference, and I also was getting very excited about plays, in college, more so than I had been in the past.
Would you say that's when you started writing, was in college, or have you always been writing?
I had always been writing as a hobby whenever I wanted to get ideas down, and I wrote some terrible screenplays and plays, like just awful. Starting back from like middle school, I would like write.
I'm agreeing because I wrote one in college, and you were like, I don't get this. I'm like, but it makes sense to me.
Oh, please. I wrote the worst slasher movie when I was in. Like that was like basically a copy of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer in junior high school. But I loved all that stuff, like Buffy and all that stuff growing up. Yeah. So I wrote the worst screenplay.
Just a big Joss Whedon fan.
Yeah. And so but as a hobby, and I knew they would never see the light of day. And then I guess it was in college. Yeah, I took a screenwriting class in college and creative writing and. And then I guess it's just
here we are now.
Here we are now.
Did you feel prepared for like your? I mean, because you've been doing it pretty much like leading up to college. Like when you were in college, do you ever have to leave to do a job?
I had to leave for major callbacks, but never a job because I thought I was going to get Rent on Broadway, and I was.
What part, Mark Cohen?
Yeah, it was very, 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 very close, and they called me. They said I was my 8th call back, and they said you have to come in tomorrow. So I left school to go do that, and then it never worked out. The show closed and I never got to do it, but never for an actual job. No.
Is there a part that you auditioned for, I mean, other than Mark Cohen, that you didn't get that you really wanted?
Yes, there were about 3 in my life that I'm very bummed about that never happened, that never came through. Do you want to name them? Sure. But Mark Cohen's one, and another one is Princeton in Avenue Q, and another one is Tony in Billy Elliot. Those are the ones I got.
Tony's the brother.
The brother.
Right? Yeah. Did you audition for the Broadway production?
Yes.
Did you get close to it?
Yes. Oh, another one I got really close to was Patrick and SpongeBob.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, they're doing a lot of those regionally, so I'm sure at some point in your life.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I'm kind of moving on. I'm moving on to film, I think, a bit more.
We move on. Just like the Chicago musical.
Yes.
So when you graduated college, what was your next step? Did you feel prepared, even though you already had a lot of stuff going on?
I did have a lot of stuff going on, and you're never really prepared.
Do you think, because you already kind of had, a steady career, and then you went to college, do you think that, if you didn't go to college, it would have made a difference? Or, are you happy
No, I'm happy I went to college because I got to play a lot of parts that I would not have played. Maybe ever because of type, or at least not for many, many, many years.
I think that's a lot of what happened when I was... Because I'm not the skinniest person, so I didn't get cast a lot in college. And I think there was a lot of favoritism.
See, since we were in a small program, and... I just got very lucky in college. I got very lucky to get some parts. I didn't get every part I wanted, of course, but I got some parts that I played Fred Graham in Kiss Me Kate my senior year, which I was 21 at the time. Yeah. I learned a lot playing that part.
I did a show my junior year of college where I played a 60-something 40-year-old woman. I mean, it wasn't a far stretch.
Yeah.
The woman was Jewish with the Long Island accent. So, like, me in 30 years, at the time it was 40. And then apparently, like, one of the professors was like, you believed that you couldn't even tell she was 21.
But I like that. I feel like you learn a lot from that. Like, I did The Baker and Into the Woods, which is my favorite musical. And I've done that show twice now. And just, like, it was the first show I ever saw on Broadway.
My first show was Les Mis. I was 5.
But I was 5 too.
Oh, nice. So I think it's different.
People think that when I say Into the Woods, they think I'm talking about the Vanessa Williams one. When I say it was my first Broadway show, I'm like, oh no.
Was it the Bernadette Peters one?
It was Nancy DeSalle who replaced Bernadette Peters. It wasn't the.
You know what's funny? So like I don't really work for them that much anymore, but ironically, you're What the Constitution Means to Me back. Yeah. My merch company actually did merch there.
Oh yeah.
So you bought it from my merch company.
I bought it for your merch company. I love that play.
$20.
Something like that.
Yeah, I know my merch.
Yeah, I love that play.
I have a friend who, like, years ago posted a shirt, like, I spent a lot of money on this. I'm like, how much was it? $35? She goes, how do you know? I'm like, because I know my merch pricing. Like, if you're at a concert, like, if you get, like, a ladies' tee, it's anywhere from, like, $35 to $45.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be spending, like, $80 on, like, a Keen t-shirt at the end of the month.
Or a Harry Styles t-shirt if you go to that.
Maybe. That's probably not going to happen. It's just, like... I'm moving. I have to save my money. And plus, I be like, Harry Styles, or go see, like, Company for another time. I'm so excited
I think about Company is
more. I bought it, like, American Express pre-sale. I'm, like, row case, center orchestra.
When are you going?
I'm going March 25th. And then the 26th,
okay.
I have nothing. And then, like, the last week of March is a big week for me. I'm probably moving that week. There's a lot happening. And then the 27th, I have the first night of previews of How I Learned to Drive, which I'll probably cry. And then the next night is my concert that I'm going to of Keen, which I've waited for them to come back to New York.
Yeah, I had some friends who saw them
years ago. It's been 6 years. Yeah, years. And it's probably one of, like, the best concerts I've ever been to.
I loved it too, yeah.
And I was supposed to see them when I was in college at Carnegie Hall, but they had to cancel the tour because the lead singer went into rehab for cocaine addiction.
Well... You know that happens.
It happens. So, yeah, I'm just so excited. Like, anyway, moving on. So, college is over. What happens next?
I go out and I start auditioning all the time, like a crazy person. I had an agent, but I was doing a lot of stuff on my own.
Have a survival job while doing this?
I did not have a survival job.
Did you live at home?
I lived at home.
How was your feelings about living at home?
I felt very lucky that I lived close to Manhattan.
Mm-hmm. Were you just like, I need to get away from my parents?
Our house was very big, so I didn't really... It wasn't so bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't so bad, but of course there were times that, like, of course, a lot of my friends still lived at home in our early 20s.
Yeah.
We got very lucky because we were in... Is that working?
No, it's fine. It's just like, this microphone is having a moment of time. It's fine. Keep talking. I'm listening.
So, yeah, no, I didn't mind living at home. I would help my stepfather's an animal behaviorist, so I would help him sometimes to make some extra money in his office. And then I did get a survival job. At one point, I was an usher and a house manager at the Yiddish theater, the Volksbühne theater. They just did the Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah, which I really wish I saw.
I didn't see it. I haven't worked there in
years.
I
feel like I have a special connection to Fiddler, not because I'm Jewish, but because I did merch there for the last revival. And I was, merch people, they sometimes you'd forget the schedule of, like, different people of who's going to work and then, like, who's managing the show. So I was the one consistent merch people throughout the entire run of the show. And I would only work on Saturdays. I didn't work, like, every single Saturday because if there was a Saturday I needed off, I would request it off. But the production was there for a year. So I was literally, that's not English, literally there the first night of previews, which was a Friday, I believe, and I just worked a 10-hour shift. Oof. And that show was 3.5 hours long. And then I worked the final performance. So, I mean, I feel like
You're talking about the Danny Mercy one?
Yeah. Which I really... He should have won the Tony.
He was
but
great.
It was also the year of Hamilton. So you kind of, some people thought, like, Leslie Odom and Lin-Manuel would cancel each other out. But... They didn't, and it's fine. Hopefully, he'll win this year for playing Zidler and Fiddler.
I think it's his year.
I think it's his year. I think his only competition might be Matt Doyle in Company, or I will say I saw Sing Street off Broadway at the end of January, and the guy who plays the lead singer, like the lead character's brother, is so fantastic in that show. As soon as after the show is over, I'm like, he will be nominated for a Tony. Like, doesn't mean he's going to win.
I still think they're going to give it to Danny.
Oh, 100%.
Only because it's like...
It's time.
He's so great in it, and
Yeah.
it's time. Exactly.
And it's also just like, it's time.
Yeah, it's time. And he was wonderful in it.
I'm just curious to know, like, I don't know who, like, lead actor in a musical I think is going to be Rob McClure, because I don't really know who else's competition will be.
Yeah, I can't think of anything
And
else.
also, like, Rob McClure is amazing, and I personally think he should have won for Chaplin.
Oh, I loved Chaplin.
Me too.
Very underrated.
I think if it was still on Broadway at the time, he probably could have had a really good chance of winning. But that was also the year of, like, Billy Porter.
Yeah.
And, like, nothing against Billy Porter, who's, like, amazing.
Right.
But I just think that he should have won. And then I think, like, the bloodbath categories are going to be the lead actress. So, leading actress in a musical, you're going to have Katrina Lenk. You're going to have Adrienne Warren.
Warren.
Yeah.
Tina, right?
I just saw Tina, and I was like, so far she's a front runner to me, but I also haven't seen Company. She's incredible. I was vocally exhausted after I watched the show, and I was just sitting there. And then the lead in Caroline or Change.
Yep, Sharon.
I think
Clark.
those are going to be like the three to kind of beat, and then, I mean, it really, like, there's plenty of other shows that are coming out that I'm brain farting on, and the, like, supporting actress is probably going to be Patti LuPone.
Probably.
Yeah, but then you also have, like, all of the women in Six.
Yeah.
So it's just...
Who might all cancel each other out.
Yeah. And then lead actress in a play, it's either going to be Laura Linney...
Or Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah. Or Mary Louise Parker.
Good year. Good year.
I know. It's like the year that... They had the year that Once was nominated and won everything, like, I think 2012, because, like, the lead actress category had, like, Nina Arianda.
Oh, it was such a good year,
You had Linda Lavin, you had Tracy something who was
Tracy Bennett.
Yeah,
yes,
and she's in The Hangman now.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, I want to see it mostly because Dan Stevens, a.k.a. Matthew Crowley's in it, from Downton Abbey. He was the Beast in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yes. I love the playwright, so.
Yeah. Martin McDonough.
Yeah.
He's dating Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Do you know Fleabag?
I've watched a couple of episodes and I know her work. I loved her on SNL.
Yeah, she was fantastic on that. Oh, and I just want to correct myself because last week I can only think of like 2 SNL hosts. There were more women. There was Scarlett Johansson, Jennifer Lopez, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Kristen Stewart. Only 4 women have hosted this year.
This year?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and like everything else has been guys.
Huh.
You get more women to host.
Yeah.
I mean, the women on the show are like incredible, but
the women on the show this year, this current cast.
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen now that like Elizabeth
They're
Warren
so good.
is not.
What are we
Kate
gonna
McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. What are we gonna do with you, Kate McKinnon?
I hope she never leaves because she's just.
She is a gem.
Yeah, a lot of people felt the same thing about Kristen Wiig, but then there's like Kate McKinnon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Kate McKinnon wins
everything.
at life.
She actually, like a year, like maybe like 2 years ago, came home, I had like a box and I had laundry, and who was on the elevator with me? But Kate McKinnon. Kate McKinnon in my building, riding up an elevator with me.
Does she live in this building?
I don't think so. And she was in like workout clothing. I think she was like with her sister or girlfriend or something. And I'm like, holy shit.
Oh my God. I don't know. I would have.
I don't like going up to people unless it's at a stage door, so that's how I've missed many of opportunities to meet Seth Meyers, which kills me because I love him so much. Everybody knows I have like a deep-rooted love for Seth Meyers. Him and Ron Swanson, but mostly Seth Meyers. Yeah, but I was like, oh my God, Kate McKinnon. Holy shit. Yeah, anyway, so getting sidetracked again. So what kind of like... Because, you have a pretty big Instagram following now. You have over 11,000 followers.
Yeah. And
you have this movie, Yes. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. So Yes came from a one-man show that you wrote.
It was a 2-person show.
I lied. It's a 2-person show that you wrote. I tried to research as much as I could. So how did... Talk to me about the creation of that show. Was the show also called Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
So it was actually a pretty funny story, and it's something that I never ever expected in a million years. So I was auditioning and doing my concert work. I had wrote a musical called Ghostlight that played a nymph, and I thought maybe I was going to be a writer, but then I missed acting, so I went back to acting. It was a few years there that were very messy, and I learned a lot, but also very like not on the right path. Mm-hmm. So a friend of mine said, there's this festival, Emerging Artist Theater Festival, and they're accepting plays, and I know you write plays. I'm like, yeah, I write plays, but like, just for myself, really.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but look it up. So I looked it up, and the due date for the play was already 3 days too late. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? And so I read the instructions, and it said, all you need to do is send us, you don't have to send us your full play. All you have to do is send us 7 pages of a play. The first 7 pages of your play, and we'll know if it's good enough. I'm like, okay. I was like, I was writing this play last year about this acting teacher, this acting student. I always wanted to go back to it. Let me go on my computer, see if I can find it. Went on the computer, found it. You know how many pages was there?
7.
7, exactly. And so I said...
It was Kismet.
I said, I got it. I got to send it in. So I sent it in. I was like, I'm sorry, this is 3 days late. I was out of town. That was a lie. I wasn't out of town. I was like...
I sometimes do that. I'm like, sorry, guys, I was out of town.
I was out of town, didn't see it.
I was in my apartment.
Yeah, doing nothing.
Watching television.
Watching television. That's exactly what I was doing. And so I was like, sorry, I was away in L.A. doing something fancy, which I wasn't. And I was like...
I was in L.A. I just ate and drank whatever I wanted.
And sorry, it's late, but here's my 7 pages. And then about a week or 2 later, they said, congratulations, you're in the festival. I said, oh my God, now I have to write a play. Yeah. But I sat down and I wrote this character based on teachers I had in college. Did
any Kevin Kline go into it?
Some Kevin Klineisms are more the way I speak as the character, because Kevin Kline's a much better person than this character. But yeah, but it was an amalgamation of a lot of people that I've known, and little bits of my life that are true, but nothing. It's not a true story in any way, shape, or form. And because I knew it so well, and I wanted to write something with 2 people in a room who are very different, just having conversation, and like. But they're so different, and yet we learn at the end they're really kind of the same. That's something like the zoo story. I love that. And so Edward Albee.
No, I'm just trying to. I think I did see the zoo story because I saw like they did a production at like Signature with
with both plays.
Yeah, it was like at home at the zoo.
Yes.
And the first one was at home, and I was literally falling asleep.
Oh, what?
I don't know if I could have been like super tired, but I could not keep my eyes open.
I didn't
I
didn't see that.
And then I saw the zoo, but I also think like Paul Sparks, who was in it, who played the homeless guy, he's a really great actor, although some of the characters he plays are like really scummy.
Yeah.
But he's a really great actor, and also seeing oh my God, what's his face? The other actor who I can visualize in my head. Something. I'm gonna get it later. He was in the last revival of Sunday in the Park. He was in.
Ooh.
I'm gonna look.
Robert Sean Leonard.
Yes, thank you. He also did Prodigal Son with Timothée Chalamet, which I wish I saw because now I'm also like obsessed with him.
I love Timothée Chalamet.
Do you not see my Call Me by Your Name stickers?
I see this one.
Yeah.
Oh, they all are. Oh.
This was a test one that came with this down here.
I love it.
But I also have a Timothée Chalamet Jesus Candle.
Never eat a peach the same way again.
Yeah. I have a very unhealthy / healthy obsession with Call Me by Your Name.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely
brilliant. My friend for the holidays bought me this.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I may or may not have a tote bag of Timothée Chalamet that James Ivory, he wore at the Oscars, like somebody painted.
Yeah.
So that artist like started to sell some stuff, and I have the tote bag. And it may or may not be signed by Armie Hammer.
Well, I think that's a good thing.
I think so too.
We made a joke on the set of the movie that it was sort of like an older person with a younger, and we made a joke that the name of the movie should be "Call Me by Your Stage Name."
You should have done it.
If you look at my Instagram, there's a picture of me and Nolan, and we like kind of posed, and I did the font from Call Me by Your Name.
Nice. You should have put a peach in it.
A little peach. Oh no, no. So I sat down. I just knew the character so well, and I knew what I wanted to say. And for some reason, within a week, I had a full play. We did it. I cast it with I saw hundreds of younger actors here. Cast a great actor named Joe Blute. And we did it on and off for about 4 years. We did it at Emerging Artists. We did it at the Hudson Theater Guild. We did it at the Detroit Fringe Festival. We took it back to New York, did it at Manhattan Rep. Manhattan Rep wanted us back for an encore. We went back to Manhattan Rep. So we were doing it on and off, and all that during that entire time. An epilogue was added, but very little change other than like just two people talking in this acting lesson. Joe, who was the other actor, and a friend of his who was the director, said this needs to be a movie. So towards like our second run at Manhattan Rep, we really started seeing how it could work as a movie, and I wrote the screenplay, and we were gonna produce it through his new company. He has just a film company that he was starting. It was going to be the first thing they did, and then all the money fell through 2 weeks before filming. It was horrible. We had the cast, locations, and I was devastated.
Was Joe, is his name, the other person in the show, his name was Joe, you said, right?
Yeah, the actor's name.
So was that actor going to do the movie with you?
We were both going to do it together.
Okay.
But when we did the screenplay, when I did the screenplay, I added obviously more scenes, and I added characters that we had already talked about.
Because the original bio you sent me to put on Instagram was a little long. I wasn't able to hashtag things, so that's why I needed a smaller one. But it's like Oscar Nunez from The Office is in it.
Yes.
My friend got me these Office stickers.
That's like my favorite show of all time.
I have all these little Office stickers that an old roommate of mine left, and I took them.
I love it.
I love The Office. I have a framed That's What She Said somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that.
I have it. That's What She Said in my room, like up there.
Yeah. That shows a very big deal to my life.
Me too. Yeah. So, yes.
Did he dance like Oscar at any point?
No, he was sick on set, so he just came and did his lines, and he was very, like...
Was he nice?
Yeah, he was very nice.
Did you ask him any Office questions?
You know what? We were professional, and I didn't.
There's a blooper that I just found, because on, like, my Discovery page, it's, like, Harry Styles and, like, Office stuff. So there's one blooper where it's, like, Pam, Angela, when they're both pregnant, and Oscar, and they're like, unbelievable. He's like, unbelievable.
The one time I cried when I met a celebrity, this was years ago, was Jenna Fisher. I actually cried.
I actually saw her in a Realbuto show.
That's what I'm talking about. I cried when I met her after that show.
I didn't. But she was lovely, and
she was sweet.
I took a photo with her, and my cousin said we looked alike, and I said,
"Oh, that's so sweet."
I was like, "I don't think so, but thank you."
Yeah, it was like I was shaking when I met her, but that was like the most I've ever.
Was she like, "Are you okay?"
She was so kind about it.
Yeah.
She was. I was like, because it was the night of the Office finale was the same night as the first preview of the Realbuto
Reasons to Be Happy.
Reasons to Be Happy. And I was there instead of watching the finale. So she's like, "Oh, we're partners in crime tonight. We're not watching the finale."
I still cry when I watch the finale.
The finale is amazing.
I honestly, like, it's probably, out of all of the shows that I followed throughout my life, that's probably, like, the best series finale.
The best, for sure.
The best part was when Michael came back.
Oh.
And he goes, I can't believe you came. That's what she said. And then Jim's like, best prank ever.
Best prank ever.
It's just... And I
know, I'm gonna cry.
Sorry, like, every time that scene happens, my heart, I was like, oh my God.
I know. It was so good.
I mean, Jim and Pam got engaged. And, like, the best is when he's like, I bought this ring 2 weeks after we started dating. Oh, I love The Office. They actually have a book coming out about The Office. And the reason is because also, like, if you have the Google app, they'll, like, post different, like, articles or something that you might be interested in.
Oh, yeah.
So
they do that for me all the time.
Yeah, so there was one about, like, The Office, like, why they decided to have Andy be the manager over Dwight. So they had, like, an interview with some of the writers and all that stuff about it, which I thought was interesting. They're like, oh, this book is coming out. I'm like, there's a book coming out?
Every time I go to LA, which is all the time now, I always take a trip to Dunder Mifflin, which is the exterior of the studios that they filmed at on Sataquai Street. I always take a trip and just like, I just look at it, I stand there, and it's like, because I always have to go visit it. Yeah. It looks exactly the same.
I do that with certain places in the Met Museum.
Oh, yeah, really?
I'm like, I love the Met. It's my favorite museum. And it's one of my, like, you know when you go to a certain place and you just feel like, in the city, like, I feel that way about, like, Lincoln Center when I'm, like, there, and the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Lincoln Center is amazing.
Yeah, it's my, at night, especially.
Oh, yes.
I actually have a friend who works at Lincoln Center, and he, like, you work somewhere, and you're just like, ugh.
I don't want to be
think he's
rich.
kind of like, I'm like, we could do this. He's like, I don't want to go back to where I work. I'm like, I get it. Like, I don't want to
go to the fountain.
Yeah.
Lincoln Center.
Yeah, it's so fun, guys.
It's beautiful.
Anyway, so the money fell through.
The money fell through, and my publicist at the time said, listen, I know this guy, Rob Margulies, he directs independent films. He has this company, Different Duck, and I'll send him the script. So if you send me the script, I'll send him the script. It's like, fine. So I was so depressed. I was like, here.
Do you, just really quickly though, do you have the same cast for the movie that you...
No.
Okay.
No.
Is that like... we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We don't have... If there are certain things you can't talk about, we won't talk about them.
I mean, there's a couple of things I might not be able to talk about there. But,
That's fine. We fired everybody but kept me.
We did not fire...
I joke, guys. I joke.
It's not the way it was. It was a completely different contract and everything. And Joe and I had a falling out as well. Because of the money situation. And so he said didn't want to be part of the movie anymore. And so we separated and we haven't talked since. But I've talked about this in interviews. And I do wish he's so talented. Yeah. I wish him well. Listen, I couldn't have done it without him.
You know, in life, and I've mentioned this before, and I was talking to a friend about it the other day at dinner. You know, there are people in my life who I was like very good friends with. And then, you know, things happen and you're not friends anymore.
Right.
And Jemima Kirk was on Seth Meyers years ago when Girls was on. And she said something on the lines of like, because their two characters on the show aren't friends anymore. Her character and Lena Dunham's character on the show. And she's like, you know, for me, I feel like you have certain friends in your life at a period of your life that are meant to be your friend. But that doesn't mean like at another aspect of your life they're supposed to be friends.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's happened a lot in my life as well. So that was one of them. And again, wish him no ill. I hope he's doing great. He is wonderfully talented, and I probably wouldn't have done the movie if it wasn't for his encouragement that it should be a film. Yeah. So I thank him. He's in the special thank you at the end credits. He didn't even want to be, but like I was like, I have to put him in it because he really, really, I mean it. So Rob Margulies, who wound up directing the film, read the script and he said, let's have a meeting. It was about a week after it was canceled.
Oh, okay.
It's very fast. This all happened very fast. And so we went for a meeting, and I didn't even think anything of it because I have had those meetings my whole life. And what I call them is advice meetings, where you sit down with someone who's like, I'll have a meeting with you. And they're like, you're very talented. This is what you have to keep doing, blah, blah, blah. This is not for me right now, but they do the favor of meeting with you. And it's very nice, but give me the money. You know what I mean? Like,
show me the money.
Like, you know, oh, you're very talented, but So that's I call them advice meetings, and that's exactly what I thought what was going to happen. So I sat down with Rob, and he's very chill. I'm like, hi. I'm still depressed about the movie ending, so I'm like, hi, what's up? He's like, so I just want to tell you right off the bat, I love your script. I was like, oh, thank you so much, but.
Did you say that?
I did, but... and he goes, no, I really love it. I think we should make it. I was like, okay, but. And he goes, no, here, like I set out this, and he pulls out all these papers of like casting ideas and like filming locations and like budget, and I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I think we can do it for this and this. I think we can get this person, that person. I was like, hold on, really? And then he's like, this is how much it'll cost, I think, and blah 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 blah. And then he hands me a contract. I was like, well, I have to go home and read this.
I'm not just going to cite it.
I'm not just going to cite it. It was amazing. So I was still, I was living with my ex at the time. And he was like, you have to do all the research. You have to do all the research. I did all the research. And I didn't even look up this director, Rob Margulies. I did not look him up. And then I thought it was going to be an advice meeting. And I looked him up. I'm like, wow, he directed this movie. I know this movie. He directed a movie with Josh Gad, Hilary Duff, called She Wants Me. And he directed a movie with like Alexa Vega and Jane Addams and Kathy Najimy. Like, he's done a lot of stuff. I was like, wow, okay, he's for real. His company's for real. Cool. And so I signed the contract, and we did it. Yeah. And my only thing was like, I have to play the role because I've been playing it for 4 years. And
was he okay with that?
And he said, that's fine as long as we get a star for the other role. And I was like, okay, Joe's not working on this anymore with me anyway, so he said he didn't want to do it anymore, so yeah, let's get a star for the other part.
Yeah.
And he was fine with it. And,
how many people did Noah?
No, Nolan.
Nolan?
Yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah.
Why do I keep saying Noah?
And my mom does too. It's okay. Nolan Gold.
Thank you, because clearly I can talk like a human. Did he have to audition for the role?
He didn't have to audition. No, he was offer only, but he took a very long time for that process to happen because of Modern Family, because he has had to go through his agent, had to go through his publicist, and had to go through 20th Century Fox to make sure that it was like good enough for someone on their show to do, and it wasn't going to ruin his reputation in any way. So it went through like all these processes before he even read it.
You know, it's really interesting, and I'm happy you're here to talk about it, because, you know, I haven't had like a lot of people on who's like made a film with kind of like known people, and it's just kind of interesting the process of having somebody who's on like a hit television show and just trying to get them into the movie, and the process of like the steps it needs to go to just have them like star in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes you don't realize like what it takes to like get somebody cast.
You gotta have the material that's good enough. You gotta it really helped that our director Rob Margulies actually worked with Nolan when Nolan was like 3 on Nolan's very first thing ever, and it was a student film when Rob was still in college, so they had that connection that like Nolan didn't really remember or anything, but there was a little connection there, and so that was cool. Like his agent was like, oh cool, so you've already directed him. Yeah, but you do have to jump through a lot of hoops. You have to make sure that they get the money, that the price is there. Like, you know, SAG minimum is not going to work for like people like that, and points on the back end. It's all business stuff for a while. What I love about Nolan is not really one for like the money and everything. He really is about the art. He really does care about the script, and he worked his butt off for like this character, because it's nothing like Luke on Modern Family. It's very dark, and he worked so hard. He went to an acting coach.
The movie's dark comedy, or is it
more
of a drama?
I think it's just a drama.
Okay.
There's comedy in it.
Yeah.
But it's not a dark comedy. It is a drama. Every time we've won an award at a festival, it's been like for best drama.
Mean like every acting awards category you've won?
Yeah.
Don't be bad. Like, I would be the same.
It's been crazy. So we got him, and then we got, Jenna Lee Green is a good friend of mine, and she was actually playing Annie the first time around too, my sister character. She was...
Let's be real, I know her from Sabrina.
From Sabrina, Libby.
Libby from Sabrina.
So, Libby from Sabrina.
I think she's also on Cameo.
She is.
And my friend's obsessed with her because she was in like the original cast of Bear.
We should call her.
They're like, hey girl, loved you in this.
I should call her, put her on the podcast.
Yeah, why not? Hey girl. Be like, so tell me what it was like filming Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I would totally do it. We've been friends for years, and
you know what? You're always welcome back on the podcast.
Yeah.
If you want
fantastic.
to. We can do like a 20-minute podcast called like Who Will Pick Up the Phone?
Who will pick up the phone?
Yes!
I have numbers in there, you would die.
You tell me this, but you don't understand. Like, there's a reason this podcast is called Other Things, because I'm like also a huge entertainment junkie. I have a huge entertainment knowledge base, so it's like my thing.
I have numbers in there that, I'm very excited about.
You will show me once this is... Okay. We're not going to call them, because I promise, like, people think I'm crazy, but I'm actually, like, I'm very respectful. I'm not going to be like, oh, what's that person?
What's up?
Unless it was Harry Styles.
I don't have his number.
Imagine, I have Niall Horan's, though. Okay.
No.
Who's the most famous person in your phone? You don't have to say.
Okay. No, I could say.
Okay. But fine.
I mean, it depends on level of...
Who do you think is the most famous person in your phone?
I think probably Nolan.
Okay. I love Modern Family.
But like, I mean, based on like...
Other people?
Based on like... like the society, but like, if you go by Broadway, I mean, there's more fame. Probably if you're like Broadway famous, like Rachel York, Daisy Egan...
I have a Rachel York story that I'm not going to mention on my podcast.
Oh, okay. Like, people like Hunter Foster. And,
I love Hunter Foster. So my friends and I, like, I think my freshman year of college had this, like, long-running joke that he was stalking me.
Carmelo, sorry.
Well, no, the reason I say that is because, like...
Hunter Foster?
Yeah, because, like, every time I was, like, in the Times Square area or something, I would always see him. And so, like, the running joke was, like, oh, Hunter Foster is stalking me. And then when they had, like, Bank of America in Times Square, I'm literally standing outside of Bank of America, and, like, inside of Bank of America was Hunter Foster and his wife. And I was like, he's stalking me. And then my family, my chair is squeaky, guys. You're welcome. When he did the producers... I went with my mom and my two sisters, and I made them stand outside of the stage door. And, like, nobody was there, and he took forever to come out. I'm like, no, we're meeting Hunter Foster. And I met him.
You met him.
And I have a photo with him. It's glorious.
Oh, okay, actually, no. Either, maybe, I think somebody else. Either Laura Venanti or,
Hold on one second. Okay, either Laura Benanti.
Laura Benanti or Rachel Bay Jones.
We'll talk after the podcast.
Like, I don't know which one you think is more famous.
They're
all.
I have stories about lots of people.
Carolee Carmelo.
I don't think is appropriate to mention on said podcast.
Okay, but they're all on my phone.
That's great. Are they all friends with you? Or they're like, hey, what's that motherfucker?
Oh, Ariana DeBose? Is she?
Yeah, she's great. I actually, I will say when I saw Summer. I had so much fun at that show. I did not get to see her. I saw her understudy.
Oh, you saw her understudy. She was great.
No, well, she's doing fantastic for herself.
She's doing amazing.
She
could get nominated for an Oscar.
I would, maybe. And then
she's so happy for her. She's been working her butt off for so many years.
Yeah. I always say, like, I don't know these people personally, but, like, the people that I do know that are just genuinely, like, very nice, good people, and they're super talented. Like, there's this guy I went to college with, Brandon Contreras. Hope I'm butchering his last name. I can't say last names, apparently, today. He was actually just in the Almost Famous musical, and he does a lot of regional stuff and, like, concerts, and he is, like, and I want to get him on the podcast, I haven't asked him, but he is one of the nicest and loveliest people, and he's also just, like, so talented. And I'm just happy when people like him do very well.
Yeah. Nice people do well. It makes me happy too.
Yeah. And also, like, horrible human beings.
Well, there are a lot of those.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, the two people I despise the most in the world, I don't think are pursuing acting. So I'm okay with that.
That's good. Let them not make it.
Yeah. I know it's, like, really bad to say karma and all that. But, like, if you've been screwed over and, like, treated a certain way,
I get it.
I mean, I don't wish I don't even wish, like, somebody getting, like, a cuticle. Like, I feel bad for wishing that on people.
I don't wish ill will on people,
but like, I don't wish bad ill, but, like, I'm okay with them, like, not pursuing a career like that. Sure. Pursue something else. Let me pursue a career.
I've seen people who don't deserve it making it, and I don't like to see that, but... Yeah. And that's just more of a private thing I have with myself.
Well, there's also, like, another thing, too, and I think I mentioned it on the podcast with, like, meeting people that you're fans of, and then, like, you meet them, and they end up being, like, horrible. Like, there was a person who was in one of my favorite musicals of all time, and they were in a musical that I did merch at. And there was a party afterwards for this show. I don't want to, like, name the things because you can probably figure it out. I'll tell you after the podcast. I don't want to name it on the record. But, I went up to them, and everybody knew how excited I was that this person was coming into the show. And I was like, oh my God, they're coming into the show. Like, I love them. Anyway, so after, like, at the party, I went up to them, and I was like, you're this musical that you were in. I saw you in it. It's my favorite musical. Like, you just don't get over something like that. And then they said, you're the second person to mention that to me. That show was 6 years ago. People need to get over it.
Oh, I need to know who that was.
I was like, pourquoi? And I walked away, and I'm like, this person's an asshole. And, like, one of my really good friends who I did merch with, he's like, oh, no, I remember that story because you came up to me right after when it happened. And, like, cut to when, like, School of Rock was, like, auditioning people. There was an actor named Noah Weisberg who was, like, sitting in the lobby of one of the hotels I was working at. And we were kind of, like, eyeing each other. I think because, like, I knew who he was. And I think he probably figured that I don't know. But he ended up coming up to me, and we were talking about, like, life and all that stuff. He was actually auditioning for the roommate Ned in School of Rock. And I was like, that'd actually be really good for you. And I mentioned that story to him, and he was like, he's like, that's horrible. Like, people should just be grateful they have a job. They should be grateful that, people are coming up to them still about work they did at one point. And for me, like, I'm not saying that one day I will have that, especially with my line of work. Like, I work in hotels. Like, I work for a concierge company. So the hotel that I work at, I'm not technically concierge. But even if I'm in a mood, I don't take it out on a guest, because for me, I even say this to guests, like, I'm not going to treat you how I would not want to be treated at a hotel. Like, I want to, I'm there to help you. I'm there to make sure you have a good time. Because if I want to go to a hotel, I don't want to have, like, an asshole helping me.
Right.
I mean, there does come a point where I can only take how many people are asking me where a fucking bathroom is.
Yeah.
And I get an attitude about that. And when you were saying the end, but, with your meeting with the director, I was like, oh, I say that to people with the bathrooms. Like, oh, bathroom? Bathroom? It's that way. Yeah. So, I got it. But, like, I don't know, what is it like for you? So, like, this movie now is in all these different film festivals.
Yeah, a lot.
You started to get a little bit of a following. I think you have, like, 3,000 Twitter followers. You have over 11,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah, because of Nolan. Nolan has over 1 million. And I posted something with Nolan. The first time I ever posted something with Nolan, I was like, whoa!
Yeah. My younger... there's a singer out there named Madison Beer who's going to be 21. She actually... I'm from Long Island. I have a 20-year-old sister who's going to be 21. They actually were, like, very good friends when they were younger. Like, she was one of the girls who, like, brought my sister into her bat mitzvah. And so, because, like, my sister was, like, tagged in a photo with her, she got more followers.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It was crazy. So my Instagram's... I'm more on Facebook, but my Facebook's... I have a different name on Facebook because too many... Once the movie's trailer came out and people saw that there's a little sexuality in there with me and Nolan. Spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. It's in the trailer. I got
bone.
No. But we do have some moments and
sexual tension.
More than that.
Do you blow at each other?
What? No.
Hange? Nothing?
A little hangy. No. It's... You have to see the movie.
Is there a smooch? Okay.
I'm nodding one way or the other.
No, yes, maybe. See the movie, guys.
But a lot of people would send me very weird messages. Like, I get messages like, ooh, do you spank Nolan in the movie? Did you ever get to see Nolan's feet? Oh, do you guys get to make out? I want to watch that. And I got these messages on Facebook. So then I changed my Facebook name, so you have to...
I'm actually private on Instagram for my personal account, but my Theater Enthusiast and Other Things podcast, at Theater Enthusiast Podcast Instagram handle. I only have like 42 followers. But I'm not private.
Follow her!
Guys!
So yeah, things get weird
as soon
as you get like a little bit of recognition.
Yeah,
things
so
get
like
weird.
My private Instagram, like you can't see anything, and then like I'll have people like friend request me. There's this like one salon in Baltimore that for a while like kept like requesting to follow me, so I had to send them a message, and I said, I don't accept people I don't know to follow me on Instagram. Plus, like I don't fucking live in Baltimore.
Right.
And then they did it again, and like months later, and I was like, guys, no.
Yeah, I keep my Instagram pretty open for if that's like more professional. My Facebook is more private.
It's fine. I post more on Instagram because I think I'm more private on there. And like Facebook, I'll post like Broadway, and like I'm going to see Girl from the North Country tonight, so I'll post like, oh, I'm seeing a show, and then like I'll also post like, hey, new episode with your name on Instagram, on Facebook that I'm not going to mention on here. Just to be like, take a listen, it's fun.
Yeah, I do have a Facebook official page. Like it's Realbuto official.
I mean, you can always post on there. It's fine.
Yeah. Promotion. You can go on. I have my Facebook, Instagram.
The Twitter, the Twatter.
The Twatter.
So you have the cast ready, and where did you film the movie?
In Brooklyn, Manhattan, and LA.
Very nice. So how long was the filming process?
Okay, so my director and I like to have a debate about this. He says it was 9 days. I say it was 11 because of 2 pickup days that he doesn't count. So I'm going to say, since he's not here, I'm going to say 11 days.
So
it was very quick. It was very quick. And what I loved about it is that it was like theater in the sense that we did one day we filmed 23 pages,
Mm-hmm.
which I was just like, yeah, let's just keep going because this is what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
And
was there any improv?
no.
No.
At the end of the day, they were like, no one, we've never filmed this many pages. And it was because it was just me and Nolan that day, and we both knew our stuff so well, and it was just easy to get through it.
Did you rehearse before you filmed?
I went to LA and we had 2 days of rehearsal because he lives out in LA.
Yeah.
So I went to LA and we had 2 days of rehearsal 2 weeks before he was coming here to film.
Yeah. I know that like on Inside the Actors Studio, James Lipton would always ask, like, do you like rehearsal before a film?
Yes, for sure.
I always imagined being on Inside the Actors Studio myself. That's why I'm going to ask the questions later on.
Yeah,
but
I
always said, I think I would like rehearsal because, I come from a theater background and that's what you're used to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And also, we had not, at that point, we had never even heard him read the part. So we were both like, we hope he's good. So then he's not going to listen. Maybe he'll listen to this. But like, if you listen to this, Nolan, we were so happy when you were amazing.
You're great on Modern Family.
Yes.
He's also like, I don't know what it's called, but apparently his IQ is like...
Mensa. He's in Mensa.
Yeah, he's in Mensa.
He's very smart.
And
but he's also very nice, but also he's very silly. He's still a kid. Like,
He's like 18, right?
Well, he's 21. He's a kid. He
That's
was
like
19
our old farts in our 30s.
Yeah, he was 19 when we filmed the movie.
Young. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be 17, and
That's
he was
fine.
19.
People play younger.
Couldn't really cast a 17-year-old in the movie because of reasons. Because of reasons.
So now that the film is done, what's the next step after filming?
So we submitted to all festivals, and we got in a really big festival we got into was Dances with Films, which is in LA. Then we premiered at the Chinese Theater.
Oh wow!
Which was crazy. So that was like a week of like just literally 13 days of just like nonstop interviews and red carpets and parties. They treat you like everyone gets treated like the biggest star in Hollywood at that festival. It was crazy. And then we premiered. It was like a Saturday night, 9:00 at Grauman's Chinese Theater. It was like, how was my life?
How long is the film?
An hour and 41 minutes. Okay. It's like normal length of a film.
That's cool.
And so then we've just done a whole ton of festivals, and we just here, where have we gone? We've gone to Florida, we've gone to Las Vegas, we've gone to Niagara Falls, we've gone to I just said that. What's the other one? Nashville. We did 3 in LA. We did 2 in New York. 2 in New Jersey. We've been in London. We've been in Italy. We've been in Finland. We just had a Finland premiere.
So my question is, so you have all of these like film festivals that you're in. What's the next step after movies in a film festival?
What we're gonna do is we have a sales distributor, and I've had a contract with him since before even the film festivals, and we're looking for the best deals to see what we wanted, if we want to release it in short term in like maybe just New York and LA, and on demand like a week later. No matter what, though, we're going to be on demand.
Good, so we all can watch it.
Yeah, by the summer. Streaming and iTunes and Amazon and hopefully all that. But we'd like to get a theatrical run for a limited theatrical run. If that doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. It will definitely be streaming by the end of the summer. That's the goal. Yeah.
That's great. So let's talk about all of the awards that you've won.
All of them.
Let's boost your ego a little bit.
Oh,
so our mutual friend Elliot, he's like, he beat Dylan Baker for an award. He's like, Dylan Baker. I'm like, okay, I know who that is. That's awesome.
Just last week we were at Beaufort, the Beaufort Film Festival, which is one of the bigger ones. The most amazing time. They had a really cool festival. It was like being at the Oscars. Like they had like the best actor and then clips from the movie. It was very cool. And Dylan Baker was nominated, and so was Joe Pantoliano from The Sopranos, who's an Emmy winner. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm not gonna win this, and I did win. It was great.
Yeah. Do you still do you give acceptance speeches?
I mean, yeah, I did for that.
Did you think your former co-star that you had a falling out with?
Not that last time, but sometimes I do.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. I've had to give. I hate this. It sounds so arrogant, but I've had.
Listen, you believe me. You are very nice and humble, and I think I am very arrogant on this podcast because I'm like, I'm great, but I'm also like, Rah. So it's fine.
I've had to give a lot of acceptance speeches in the last few months, and so they all changed a little bit. Sometimes I write what I want to say. Sometimes I write just a list of names, and sometimes I don't write anything. And yeah, yeah. I've
How many awards did you win?
13.
Oh, it's a lucky number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's high.
That's just me. The movie's one more.
How many? What
Actually,
type of awards?
I don't know.
Has it won like a best film, director?
Yeah, the best film, best director.
Has it won like a screenplay award for you?
Yeah, I won one screenplay award and one nomination, or maybe 2 screenplay awards. But I'm talking about 13 actor awards.
Yeah.
So.
Not including like the other ones.
Right.
So now, how much longer are you still like in film festivals with this movie?
We're still up. We're coming towards the end of it.
Did you try for like Tribeca?
Yeah, we didn't get into Tribeca. Unfortunately, that's very, very political.
Yeah. I feel like Tribeca and like the New York Film Festival usually has like, I'm not saying that your film isn't big, but like movies that are like a little bit bigger with like names in it, like bigger names.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I'm
not saying that yours isn't.
No, I'm very happy with this. Like this is the level I wanted this movie to be. We didn't want it to be any bigger than this. It's supposed to be like this it's supposed to cost what it costs and look the way it looks, and it's, to me, it's perfect the way it needed to be done.
So Noah was 9. So it's been like a 2-year process, pretty much, filming.
We finished filming in 2018, and we came out 2019 of June was when we first premiered the movie in LA.
So it's been many years with this film.
Feels like yesterday, but yeah. Yeah.
So what did you do like between filming the movie and it being over to like before the film was like in festivals?
I did 2 shows here in New York. I did something at Theater for the New City called The Wrong Box, which was a musical. Really so much fun. And then I did Assassins at the Secret Theater, Long Island City.
Very nice. So what's your next step?
Next step is we have a couple more festivals we're waiting on, so we'll probably do maybe 2 more festivals with Yes before it gets released. And in May, I go out to LA to shoot my next movie.
Can you talk about that or no?
I can, because we just announced the title and everything today. It's called Bobcat Moretti. It's about a boxer. Well, he's not a boxer. It's a guy who's had a lot of shit thrown at him in life. Lost his family. He's downward spiral to drugs and weight gain and just.
Are you playing this character?
I am. I'll tell you how it came to be.
I was hand selected, right? Maybe.
Yes.
It's fine.
Well, what had happened?
Who's directing it?
My same director from Yes.
That's great.
So what happened was someone in the Las Vegas premiere loved the movie, the producer, and he said, I have wanted to do this movie for years, about this guy who finds redemption through boxing. I wanted to do this movie. I have not found the right actor or the right director until I saw your movie. Wow. And so we were both commissioned for the movie.
That's so great.
And based on the movie. So
it's kind of like that improv game, Always Say Yes.
Always Say Yes.
That's why it's called Yes Guys.
And it's an amazing role, and the offers are starting to go out this week we got some pretty big stars interested, very excited.
That we can't talk about.
No, that we can't talk about.
But maybe you can tell me after the podcast.
I can tell you after.
Right, I like all the gossip guys. I won't say it to anybody.
It's the one that, everyone's like, hopefully this is the one that really puts you on the map. Yeah. I'm like, listen, I'm happy with just working, and but it is an amazing part.
I know that's what's kind of so great about you, because I feel like sometimes actors I don't actually well, I've interacted with that again, I can't speak today. I've interacted with those types of people before, but I'm not friends with them. But I think that there are some actors who are just oh, well, this is going to be my big break, and blah, blah, blah.
No, you can't think like that. You can't think like that.
Yeah, and I think, like, someone like you,
just
you're
be
just
lucky.
like,
Just be happy that you're
exactly.
doing the work and you're doing art that you're proud of.
Because, you know, there's millions of actors out there.
Yes.
And, you know, I think it's hard work, and I think it's luck, and, you know, you should just be fortunate enough to be able to get to do this. Because, you know, there could be some other person who, you know, there's another person lined up, or, you know, there's a lot of non-working people who would love to be in the position that you are, so you should just really be grateful that you get to do what you do. I'm
so grateful. I have people, I don't even realize it sometimes, like, you know, people in my life are like, can I just audition for one line in the movie? I was like, well, I'm not casting it, but I can
you know what,
tell people.
I'm going to do a premonition for you.
Okay.
I feel like however long, when you're finally on the Broadway, you've had a successful career, you're going to have somebody come up to you and cry at the stage door.
Yeah. Okay, and I will be so nice. I will be so nice to them and give them a huge hug.
You know, I just thought, like, if I was well known enough to, like, be on Broadway and, like, do it at stage door, like, it would be the same thing, like, at work. Like, I would try and be as gracious as I can, because I was in that position of going to a stage door and wanting to meet a certain person. Yeah. You know? So I've always had that in my head, like, how I would treat somebody who was like, oh my God, I love you. Or like, oh, can I have your autograph? You know what I mean?
Right. You gotta be nice.
Yeah. There's no need to be an asshole.
There's no need to be an asshole.
I mean, listen, everybody
I understand you're tired. I understand. I get it. But, like...
Mm-hmm. My biggest problem is, like, the disrespectful factor. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, I was walking by Columbus Circle, and I saw Tracy Morgan, and he was walking down the street, and he was on his phone, and some guy, like, runs up to him to get a selfie.
Well, it's different. You don't want to be disrespectful like that.
Yeah, and I was like, that's so disgusting. Mm-hmm. But these are, like, questions. Don't worry.
Got it.
Keep talking. You're fine.
Well, no, I was just like, I had won an award in LA, and I don't know if you ever know the story of when Hilary Swank won her Oscar for $1 Million Baby.
And she forgot to thank her husband?
No, well, that's something else.
Oh, no, Cry Baby. No, ignore
Boys
me.
Don't Cry, yeah. No, but this is for $1 Million Baby, and she went to the In-N-Out Burger with her Oscar. Mm-hmm. And so I won the Hollywood Moving Picture Award maybe 2 months ago. And so I said, let's go to In-N-Out Burger with our awards, because we also won Best Picture. Yeah.
Let's Hilary Swank it.
Let's Hilary Swank it. Exactly. I was wearing a suit, like, or whatever. And so my friend was videotaping me like he was a paparazzi. Like, it was very funny. And so I walked in with my award, and we ordered our burgers. And someone came up to me and was like, what is that? What's that award? Are you an actor? Who's your agent? And it was very aggressive. Yeah. And I was very rude. Yeah. But then I found out later she was a casting director who was interested in my look for something.
Oh, no.
So then I wound up talking to her and giving her my information, and I am up for a TV show now.
Were you just like, I'm so sorry?
I said, I'm so sorry.
Was she like, it happens all the time?
It was just like a weird way. So I have learned, be nice to everyone, because you never know who's going to... Yeah.
Yeah.
It was late though, and it was an In-N-Out burger, so it just seemed it was odd, and I was tired, and I was like, so yeah, just be nice to everyone. You never know who's.
So this movie is filming out in LA?
We're filming half in LA, half here.
That's very cool. And then anything after that, or you just focus on that?
This is a year-long process, because I have to lose weight for the movie. I had to gain weight for Yes, I have to lose weight for this. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a very long process.
Yeah. Just do it healthy.
Trying.
Weight Watchers, nutritionists, cut out the carbs. So, is there anything that you want to discuss on this podcast? Like, do you have this is what you should act like in a theater, or is there something important that you think the listeners should know about?
Oh.
I know.
There's so many things.
Or would you rather just talk about your top-going theater experiences first?
Yes.
So, top-going theater experiences. That's my theme song.
Okay.
I also have one for Review It. Or just go, review it! And that's it.
Best
I kind of want to hide my questions so you don't see
them. Okay. Best of my life. Mm-hmm. The first thing that pops into my head is Fiona Shaw in Medea. Mm-hmm. 2000, I think it was. That show changed my life. I didn't know what hit me when I saw it. I was just sitting there. I had a panic attack in the theater, but it was like the best kind of panic attack. It was, I did not know that theater could even move me to that level of terror, like how terrified I was and how shaken and moved I was. I couldn't, for days after that, I couldn't even like think straight.
So I had to I knew who Fiona Shaw, I know who she is, but I'm like, I had to
Harry Potter's aunt.
Excuse me, she was in, look who's, no, Three Men and a Little Lady.
Okay. She's in a lot, yeah.
And she's in Fleabag.
Fiona Shaw in anything, she's amazing.
Yeah. She also had that one-woman show on Broadway a couple years ago.
I also loved.
I didn't even see it, but I know you could go up on stage and
yeah, it was really cool. She was sitting in a box with a crow. It was very odd, or a raven. I don't know. It was
some bird.
Some sort of bird.
Some bird.
But yeah, I love me some Fiona Shaw, and that production of Medea was phenomenal.
Where was that production?
That was on the Broadway.
On the Broadway.
Brooks Atkinson, maybe.
I know where that's at. I'm seeing 6 there.
Yeah, I think that's where it was. Other ones, of course, my first Broadway show, Into the Woods. I remember moments of it.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the movie?
I actually really liked the movie.
I did too. I thought it was long, but I do remember saying, when I was going to see the movie, I put on Facebook, going to see Into the Woods, or what I would like to call Chris Pine wearing tight pants.
I really liked it. I thought Meryl, of course, was great, and
yeah. I thought everybody was really great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I enjoy me some James Corden.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think James Corden gets kind of a bad rap.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and apparently, they're oh, I have a friend who went to a taping, and he seemed like an asshole. I think there's a different persona that he puts on for his late night show, as opposed to what he's like in real life.
I met him once. It was at a stage door. And
I met him many times during History Boys.
It was not History Boys. It was
One Man, Two
Daughters.
Yeah,
and he was very nice. Yeah.
I
still have that autograph on my wall.
I was so hoarse after seeing One Man, Two Daughters.
That show was so funny.
I actually have the History Boys poster. That's one of the shows that I'm still to this day obsessed with.
Mm-hmm. It's good play.
I saw it 10 times, and nice. It's nice to kind of see where everybody's careers went, and I think the most well known is probably James Corden because of the talk show. And Dominic Cooper and Russell Tovey's now back on Broadway doing Virginia Woolf, and my favorite was Jamie Parker, who played Scripps, and he was Harry Potter.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. When I saw Harry Potter, it was Harry Potter, but I also was I am seeing Jamie Parker's Harry Potter, and I even went to the stage door because there's a photo of him and I when I'm 19, and I wanted to reenact it, but he didn't come out.
Aww.
And I was so upset. But at the same time, if you've seen Harry Potter, I understand why he didn't come out at the stage door on a Thursday night. It's a very demanding role.
I saw it twice. Both parts.
I've seen it 3 times. I'm what's that?
It's wonderful.
There was one part in the second act that happened where, spoiler.
Oh, yeah. Scared the crap out of me.
I jumped into my friend. I was oh my God. I didn't get out of my seat, but I went into her. And she's, to this day, does not remember that I did that.
Oh, no, I did too. I did it too. It's great. It's great.
It's so good. Man.
I did not see the original cast, though. I saw the current cast.
I saw it the week after it opened.
Yeah, I'm jealous. But I do love the current cast. They're great.
Yeah, also, I wouldn't, not want to look at James Snyder.
He was really good.
He was very good. And also, again, not bad to look at.
Yeah, he's
but
really
the
good.
Guy who originated the role of Ron Weasley is actually going back into the show.
Oh,
as Ron.
Really?
Okay, so getting back to the shows. So it was Medea.
Into the Woods. Alice Ripley and Next to Normal.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I saw Billy Elliot was the very first preview on Broadway.
There's one of the Billies I actually is from my hometown, and I was actually very good friends with his sister.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, throughout you know each other since elementary school, and we were in the same friend group in high school. So it was just really cool to be, and I saw him finally, probably one of the last times I saw Billy Elliot before he left. When he was taller than everyone, I was I finally got to see Trent Kowalik.
Oh, and I saw all of them.
And it wasn't because I'm it was just kind of oh, I know his sister, and it's cool to see somebody from your hometown, and yeah. That show was I saw that a lot too.
I saw I think 6 times, 5 or 6 times. Natasha Pierre off Broadway, especially, but then I also saw it 3 times on Broadway. But the first time I saw it, like, my world was, like, changed.
Why are we, like, not best friends? I actually got the tickets through work, and my life changed. My ringtone to wake me up is actually No One Else.
I sang that song in concert.
Yeah. I can't sing it, but I wish. I feel like, I mean, as much as I would love to play Natasha, I know that Maria's old school.
I love her, but she's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, she's my favorite.
I mean, as much as I mostly would play Natasha because of No One Else, but in reality, like, I would play the other role, and I know I would be great at it because it's just fun.
Yeah. No,
also, what's her face? I can't think of names of anybody. Like,
Helene.
Yes, like she would be a fun character too.
She blushes, my pretty.
Well, talking about
so
like
good.
stage dooring and like people. So David Elbes, who is actually playing Ron Weasley now in California, he was in the original cast of Once.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw it in the tent on 45th Street after Dave Malloy left, and I saw him as Pierre. And so,
I think I might have seen him too.
Yeah, and so when I went to the stage door,
I saw Dave Malloy on Broadway.
And I went to the stage door and like David Elbes came out. And I'm like, I saw you in Once. I saw you in Natasha Pierre as Pierre. I saw you in that movie that I can't think about right now with like Keira Knightley. And he's like beginning, and I'm like, yes, I saw you in that. And now you're in this, and I got so excited. And I was like, oh, he's probably gonna understudy Ron. And he was like really nice. And I think he was also kind of like, wow, I have a fan. Yeah, but he's great. Like. Yeah, and now he's playing Ron. It's very exciting. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, you should come see. I'm like, you'll have to let me know when you are on. And then like they just like moved on.
My buddy Nick Gasworth was in Comet. He understudied Balaga and Groban. He never got to go on for Groban though.
You know what's funny? So I have a huge thing about theater etiquette. Like, don't talk. Don't be on your fucking phones.
Of course.
So the second time I saw Pierre on Broadway, my friends, and I have a Natasha Pierre magnet that I'm looking at right now. And I have the coffee table book that I spent way too much money on. Cause
I got that someone bought it for me for Christmas.
I bought it at the theater as opposed to Barnes & Noble when it was discounted. But so my friend and I are like under one of the stairs on like the left side of the orchestra. So it was a little partial view. And some guy next to me is like on their fucking phone, like looking at shoes.
Yeah, no thanks.
And so then we ended up talking to him. And, like, as much as, like, it angers me with people being a certain way at a theater, in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking yell at them, and then I'll just go, do you mind just turning off your phone? And then I end up, like, being, like, super nice about it. And I remember when I saw Kiss Me Kate, I saw it with, like, high school students, and I turned around, like, as soon as intermission started, I'm like, guys, I know you're really excited, but, like, can you please stop talking? Like, you're ruining it for everybody.
Yeah.
And then those people stopped talking, but the other set of people were talking. Anyway, getting back to Natasha Pierre, so we ended up starting to talk to the guy, and it turns out that he's one of Josh Groban's security members.
Oh.
So he's like, he has to sit there every night and watch this show just to make sure nobody like touches Groban. And I have to tell you, like, I know there was like, and I was kind of like, ugh, Josh Groban coming to because I think there's sometimes a little like, ugh, why when it comes to certain like celebrities.
I love Josh Groban
coming to Broadway, and I have to tell you, he was fucking fantastic.
He was.
In Pierre, and I had to tell you, I thought he was more attractive in the fat suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just like, I remember probably the last time I saw the show, because I wanted to see it before Groban left, during Balaga, there was a moment where he actually like broke and laughed, and it was just so great. That show.
Yeah, it was. I don't think New York was ready for it.
I also, I mean, I had to say, like, when they announced and it was coming to Broadway, and they're like, it's going into the Imperial. Everyone's like, you should go to
Circle in the Square.
Like, what they did to the Imperial was fantastic.
Amazing. It was amazing.
I will say, my only concern about this season is that I think Sing Street is very, very good. It's no Once, which is one of my other favorites. Uh-huh. I'm just worried that it's in the wrong theater because it's playing at the Lyceum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, your other tops.
You said Lyceum, The Prom.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was one of the most special and important musicals in recent memory.
Can I tell my prom story really quickly?
Yeah.
So, at the end of the first act, I didn't even applaud. I was so mad. I was so mad at what happened at the end of Act 1. I said to my friend, I'm like, I'm not applauding for this. I'm so mad. That's my prop story.
And the end, that's so beautiful. And I know Beth really well, so I got to go
Here's my
backstage.
other thing. And this is nothing against Stephanie J. Block, who I fucking love and adore.
Me too.
How Beth Level did not win the Tony.
I agree.
And again, that's nothing against Stephanie J. Block because she was wonderful as Cher.
She was.
And like I just love her so much.
It's just the role in general.
I don't know. I mean, I thought Beth Level
was perfect.
But kind of how great is it that she's going to be? And Miranda Priestley, and I honestly think like nobody kind of like thought of her for that role, and then all of a sudden they announced it, and everyone's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I had it. I texted her and congratulated her for that.
And now it's the parallels of like how
Meryl took the movie.
Yeah. I will say I did see her in Drowsy.
Yeah.
And we stage doored that, and she said I smelled really good, and I never forgot that.
She's the nicest person.
Yeah.
So real. She's so real.
I fucking love Beth Level.
Yes, we all do. She's amazing.
I feel like everyone loves her, Danny Burstein.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Danny Burstein is like Broadway's dad.
Me and Beth have done so many duets together. You gotta Google them. YouTube.
I will.
Me and Beth.
I will. It'll be great.
We have fun.
Okay, so the prom.
I'm going Audra McDonald and Lady
Day.
Yeah.
Again, you and I are the same person. I actually did merch at that show.
You did?
So I worked it a couple of times.
I have the poster on my wall signed by
Maybe
Audra.
I sold it to you.
You might have.
I remember being able to watch the show.
Oh, you've heard it.
And because if you work a show, you can watch it, and I was like pretty friendly with the company manager. Actually, one of my good friends who came onto the podcast, he works at the theater, and he does headsets and he cleans and all that. But the house manager, like I've done a couple of shows merch wise there, so a lot of people knew who I was, and so they like put a pillow for me to sit at like one of the all the way in the back on the side. And I remember like walking home after on the phone with my mom and being like, it was a masterclass in acting, that production of her. Yep. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was just unreal.
Yeah. Anything else? Because I feel like I keep interrupting you.
No, it's. I'm thinking here. Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah. I will say, like, you're getting old when there's a revival of a show that was originated.
Yes.
Like that originated in college.
And I love that too.
I also, when The Color Purple was announced, I was like, meh. But then as soon as they announced Heather Headley going into the show, my friend and I were like,
I have to say Heather Headley and Aida.
Yeah.
Heather Headley and Aida.
Just Heather Headley in anything?
I don't want to tell you how many times I saw Aida.
I was in middle school, so I couldn't really.
I saw it a lot.
Oh,
I was going to say a lot.
Yeah.
Tiny Pinkins and Caroline Interchange.
Which I missed, but I'm excited for. I don't really know Caroline Interchange that well.
I
kind of know
it's great.
I will say, like, for me, and I had a guy friend of mine on the podcast. His name is Mark, and he's like, if you think I'm a huge theater nerd, like, he's like an encyclopedia. Like, he wants to be like a theater historian. Mm-hmm. And I was saying how I want to watch the movie for Sing Street before I see the musical. He goes, no, go on blindly. And I kind of feel that way when it comes to like certain shows. Like, I'll know about it, and sometimes I don't mind spoilers, but that's also like the big thing, like cast recordings. That's why I haven't listened to all of Hamilton, because I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it?
Well, I'm poor. And
luckily I know Mandy Gonzalez, so she got me a ticket.
Well, I'm
not for free. I still had to pay, but not. I didn't pay like the crazy prices.
I have a way of getting a ticket, but I also am like, and I'll see it eventually. But Hamilton was never a show I was like, I must see Hamilton. That year for me it was like, I have to see American Psycho because Benjamin Walker is half naked on stage.
American Psycho I enjoyed.
I was not a fan of American Psycho, but I
thought it was really unique.
It wasn't for me. And I always tell people, just because there's something I didn't like doesn't mean that the next person's going to like it. Like, I love Once, but not everybody likes Once.
Yeah, I liked Once. I loved the movie too, Once. And
yeah.
What's her name? Kristen Milioti blew my mind.
I actually thought, like, if out of the two of them, that who would win the Tony, like, if Audra wasn't nominated that year, Kristen Milioti would have won.
Right. I think she would have.
Yeah, and I definitely think that she was going to win over Steve Kazee. I don't think anybody saw that one coming.
Who?
Steve Kazee.
Oh, yeah, that was a weird...
That was the year of, like, Danny Burstein and Jeremy Jordan and the other guy from Follies. Mm-hmm. A lot of people thought Danny Burstein was going to win, or Jeremy Jordan. But with Once, and I've mentioned this many times in the podcast, I'm a fan of Steve Kazee. I've liked him ever since he was in Spamalot.
I saw him in that.
And, because I'm not getting into my Spamalot stories. Yeah, many years ago. Anyway, so I got a coupon in the mail, and I was like, you know what? Let me just buy a ticket because I will never see the show if I don't just use this coupon. At the end of the first act, I was like, wow. I saw it on a matinee. I went to the box office during intermission, and I bought a ticket to see it again before I saw the second act.
I've done that before.
That's the first and only time I've ever done that.
With 2 shows.
What shows have you done that with?
Next to Normal, the one I saw at Second Stage. So I saw it off Broadway twice because it was the last weekend. Yeah. And Carrie, the MCC revival, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, what? Really?
Again, everybody has their things that they like, but man, and I went to the first night of previews of once, and again, I've told this story many times on the podcast, but after curtain call, the lights went up, but the audience was still going crazy, like wouldn't leave, so they had to make the actors go back out on stage. Great. And it was such like a magical moment. Yeah. I don't remember if I got emotional or not, but some of the actors like got really emotional. I remember like Elizabeth A. Davis started to cry, and she was nominated for a Tony for playing Reza.
I know, that was a weird nomination though.
Yeah, but then like Katrina Lenk took the part over, and like
that's right, she did take the part over. I saw Elizabeth Davis. I saw the original cast, except for Steve Guzzi, who was out for like ever.
Well, there was a lot of conspiracy around that, but it turns out that he like killed his vocal cords because of the. I did post on the at Theater Enthusiast podcast, speaking about my current obsession with Harry Styles, that I think in 7 to 10 years from now, if they do a revival of it, he would actually be a very good guy.
Oh, Harry Styles?
Yeah. I cast things in my head, I think. I actually predicted the Mrs. Doubtfire musical. I put it on, I said one night, I'm like, they're going to make this into a musical. I'm going to put it on Facebook the next day. And I said, watch in like a few years from now, they're going to make a Mrs. Doubtfire musical starring Norbert Leo Butz. An hour later, they announced that they were making a Mrs. Doubtfire musical. It's not starring Norbert Leo Butz, but
that's still the one. My friend says Norbert Leo Butz should have been Mrs. Doubtfire.
I'm not complaining. I think Rob McClure is amazing.
He is.
He's actually my talent crush. My Broadway boyfriend is Alex Brightman.
Oh, Alex Brightman, he's great.
Yeah, and my talent crush is Rob McClure.
Oh, talent crush. Yeah, I haven't even thought about that.
Well, I mean, if you saw him in Chaplin, so you kind of.
I think my all around is just Jonathan Groff.
Who doesn't love Jay Groff?
I mean,
we have a Roomba that my roommate won. His name is JJ. We named the Roomba after Jonathan Groff and Jeremy Jordan.
I love it.
Well, he was in Little. Have you seen Little Shop?
No.
I didn't either. It's fine. I'm
so upset. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, Jeremy Jordan's going into Little Shop.
I'd rather see it with Gideon Glick just because I think he's more appropriate for the part.
I think. Do you remember Max Crumb?
I know Max Crumb. I worked with him.
Yeah, he actually. I read somewhere that he posted. I think I was
so talented
about it. Yeah, and I like friended him on Facebook, and I was watching like the X Factor, America's Got Talent, one of those, and I said like, "There's somebody on the show I want to punch in the face," and he actually liked my status. I'm like, "Oh my god, Max Crumb!" But like, no, we're not friends on Facebook. But
we could text him too.
Perfect. Who else is in your phone? Yeah. So I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. More theater going experiences, or you just like
Bernadette in Gypsy.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen a production of Gypsy. I know.
What?
I know. I really wanted to see the Patti LuPone one, and then I was on like winter break for college, and then they announced it was closing earlier than it was supposed to, so I missed my chance.
Oh my!
But I mean, I have watched the bootleg of her singing "Mama Rose's Turn."
You mean the one that she stops the show?
No, that's an audio bootleg, and then the video like "You just been LuPone."
Yeah, that's funny.
Imagine with Company if that happened.
Nobody do it. Please stay off your phones.
I'm so fucking excited for Company.
It's gonna be good.
And
it's gonna be good.
I remember just loving the revival with Raul Esparza.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I don't know Company that well, but I just remember like I have the cast recording, and I really love the song "Marry Me a Little." I think it's very underrated.
I sing "Being Alive" to close out a lot of my concerts.
Yeah.
Just a couple more people. Let's see.
Yeah, sorry.
Just before I forget them. Nina Arianda in Venus and Fur.
Oh, sorry. Hello. My mother is texting
Hi,
me.
Mom.
Hey, Mom. She's probably texting a photo of me and not me, her and my niece. Oh, just of herself at the White House. Oh, great.
Oh, wow.
She's in D.C. right now. It's fine.
Oh. Yeah.
Nina Arianda
and Venus and Fur.
I saw that show twice.
I loved it.
Incredible.
Loved it.
It's weird. Hugh Dancy is British, And he has a British accent. But his British accent sounded so fake to me. And I'm like, he sounds better with an American accent.
Yeah, he does American really well.
Yeah. You know who does too? Harry Styles.
Back to Harry Styles.
No, if you watch him on SNL.
Was he that movie he did, Dunkirk? He was pretty good in that.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
He was pretty good in it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But like again, my love of Harry Styles started with like SNL.
And of course, August Osage County.
Yes.
Oh, and the goat. Did you ever see the goat? Edward Albee's play?
No, I did not.
That's like probably my favorite play.
I had to tell you, I think I saw Still Persons.
Love her.
And I saw when they moved it to the Music Box. And August Osage County is a very long show.
Oh, yeah.
But it goes by.
It goes by so fast.
Yeah, and it's funny because they turned it into a movie.
Mm-hmm. They cut out a lot.
Yeah, and they also changed the ending, which the director and Tracy Letts didn't want. But the producers were like, the movie studio was like, change it.
Yep.
I saw it with a friend of mine, and I love hearing, like, when I know something's going to happen in, like, a show or a movie or something, because I've seen it already, I just love hearing people's reactions. So, spoiler if you haven't seen or know August Osage County. So, when the cousins find out that they're really siblings and they were, like, in a relationship, let me tell you, that reaction in the movie theater was so great. Everyone's like, what?
And theater, too. The actual theater, people were audibly gasping. Yeah.
And he now has, Tracy Letts is now in The Minutes, the show that he wrote.
Yeah.
And, Armie Hammer's in that, too.
He's great. Yeah.
Anything else?
I think I've mentioned mostly everything.
Yeah. Like, if you...
There's a lot, though.
Yeah. I know for me, like, when I first, like, our first podcast that I did of this, and I was like, oh, yeah, and this person, and that person in my head, and that person. Like, for me, I think it's so, I'm just going to say it if I remember it, because it was many podcasts ago. So, my top is Once, Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, Beth Level and Danny Burstein in Drowsy Chaperone.
Oh, good.
The History Boys, Liev Schreiber in Talk Radio.
Yes, loved him.
And I don't remember a lot. I mean, I remember, like, bits and pieces of the show. I just remember sitting there at one point and saying to myself, oh, so that's what acting is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also the Light in the Piazza 10-year reunion concert.
Oh, really?
Because that is my favorite musical of all time. Never got to see the original cast.
But Kelly was in it, too. I love her.
I did not see Kelly in it. But
she didn't do that. She didn't do the reunion.
Oh, no. All the entire original cast of the reunion,
good.
And everyone was just like, even like the overture makes me cry. Like, it's really bad. Kelly O'Hara also makes me cry. She walked by me once at Lincoln. I was with one of my best friends, and she still makes fun of me for this. This is when she was doing The King and I, and we're like sitting at Lincoln Center, and Kelly O'Hara walks by me, and I start to cry. I just love her so much. She's my favorite Broadway person.
Yeah.
And she's so nice.
She's so sweet.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of like really nice Broadway people, which is good.
There are.
Yeah.
There are.
Like, I mean, there's a couple of duds like the one I mentioned, but I don't think they're well known enough as like, you know who I do love is Norm Lewis.
Yes.
I want him to sing me to bed at night.
He's very, very talented.
And I did merch at Porgy and Bess, and he was there once because we were selling his CDs, and I don't remember what I said to him, but he did one of those like, oh, ha, ha, and he touched my arm, and I was like,
I love it.
Yeah. Also, probably like Audra in Lady Day.
Yeah. Anything. Audra in everything.
Yeah.
I've seen her in quite a few things.
I used to do a really good Audra McDonald impression, but I haven't done it in a while, so I don't know if it's as good. But it's like in her lower register.
Do it.
So she did Side by Side with Susan Blackwell,
yeah.
And she did SpongeBob SquarePants. So she was like, "Oh God, it's gonna be so bad right now." Who lives in a pineapple? No, I can't do it. It's bad.
I can hear it.
Yeah, she's like, no. I loves you, Porgy. I haven't warmed up, guys. Hold on. I loves you, Porgy. It's like in the lower register.
In the lower register.
And also, when I work at the Crown Plaza Hotel, I always go, the Crown. It's my, like, Philip Winkin.
He was so good in that.
Yeah. I used to do a really good Keira Knightley, but it's mostly, like, me holding in my nose. Like, yeah, see? You could see it.
I do some impressions too.
Like
but,
what?
Dita Menzel, Bernadette Peters, Patti LuPone.
I think
Mandy Patinkin.
That's my
Hugh Jackman.
I do
who
like
I
Ethel
love.
Merman because I am
Ethel.
always like there's
Always.
Ethel Merman.
Carol Channing, of course.
I can also do impressions of people doing impressions.
Yes,
So
that's basically what I do.
This is my impression of Alex Brightman doing an impression of anybody. Hi, I'm anybody. Because Alex Brightman would be like, here's my impression of Bob Saget. Hi, I'm Bob Saget.
He's so funny.
Yeah, I like him too. I had to tell you. So, do you know who Ryan Scott Oliver is? He's a composer.
Name is yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a composer.
And he does like those rated
yes.
RSO stuff. He does like those like theater things with like Lindsay Mendez.
Yep. Sure.
So when I was a senior in college, Pace University where I went, they started to do like Pace New Musicals, and one of the shows that they did was this musical called Darling. And to this day, I like still really like the music from the show. And one of my very good friends at the time was the lead in that show, and so she ended up doing like all of these different like rated RSO concerts with like Alex Brightman as like opposite her. So I knew who he was for like 10 years before like School of Rock happened. So I actually found out that he was cast in the show before it was announced because I was working at the Heidi Chronicles and the company manager was going to work on School of Rock, and I was like, oh, who's playing Dewey? And she's like, oh, I think I can tell you, Alex Brightman. I'm like, oh wow, that's actually like good for him. And I thought that was actually really good casting.
Oh, he was so good in that.
I saw the show 3 times. The first time I saw it, I saw his understudy.
Ugh.
But I said, Alex Brightman will be nominated for a Tony Award for School of Rock, and he was. And I tell people, I'm like, he's just so cute. You want to make out with his face at the end of the show. It's just like so adorable. Okay, so let's see questions. Like, do you have a favorite role you've ever played?
I do. The Baker in Into the Woods.
Into the Woods.
There's like, there's so much that happens to him. Yeah. People don't even realize it. Yeah. People always think of the witch or the baker's wife, or like, you don't realize how complex the baker goes through some shit. Yeah. And it was so amazing to play that arc.
Any roles that you want, like any dream roles?
So many dream roles.
Some that don't exist yet.
So many that don't exist yet. In plays, I really want to do The Shape of Things. I want to do the role of Adam, and that's so bad.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so...
Okay.
Okay. Let me explain something, Tim. I'm a big Neil LaBute fan.
Yeah, me too.
I have wanted to direct The Shape of Things.
Oh, direct it, please.
That's why I stood up. I was supposed to direct it in college, and then shit happened. And that's how I ended up directing How I Learned to Drive. Okay. But my dream show to direct is The Shape of Things. Stop texting me. I love my mother, by the way, guys. Sorry.
A professor in college told me, you have to read it, you'd be great for that part. And after I read it, I was like, shh, forget it.
Sorry, I don't mean to shush you. I just... Okay. Messages. Sorry, guys. Same thing happened last time. No, but like... Okay! Sorry. Ugh, sorry. Okay.
Technical difficulties. No, we're good. Yeah, so...
I'm so happy we met.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, in the movie, oh my god.
I will 100% direct you in The Shape of Things.
Let's do it. Please.
Yeah. I'm 100% here for it.
I've wanted to play that part.
That has been, like... I have it. That's why I stood up. Like... Anybody who knows me knows that is the show I've wanted to direct forever.
That's amazing. That's my dream role in a play.
Great. I'm going to direct you in it. It's going to happen. Perfect.
Please.
I have no money, but we'll do it. Even if we have to do a reading in my new apartment.
Okay.
I'm done. High five.
High five.
You heard it here first, guys. On March 6th, 2:17 p.m., Tim and I are doing a production of The Shape of Things.
It's going to happen. It's
going to be great. I'm very excited. I'm kind of freaking out. I've never had that reaction to anybody before. That was very dramatic. I literally got up from my chair and walked away.
We're going to do it.
No, I'm serious. Let's do it. It'll probably have to be once this film is over that you're playing the boxer.
Yeah, probably, but, after. I'll look better. It's fine.
No, it look, it's just, and it's interesting too because like he wrote the play and now all of a sudden he has like a beauty trilogy because you also have you have The Shape of Things and then you had, or no, the Love Trilogy. I don't remember what it was called. It was some sort of trilogy because it was The Shape of Things and then Fat Pig and then Reasons to Be Happy.
Yeah.
Reasons to Be Pretty.
Reasons to Be Pretty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
which I love, Reasons to Be Pretty.
Yeah, and then he like kind of fucked it up with the sequels, but
yeah,
they were supposed to do a production of Reasons to Be Pretty Happy,
right.
But then nobody knows what happened to him.
Apparently, maybe it wasn't very good.
No, I saw a reading of it.
And it was good?
Yeah, no, but it was fine. It's just that no, because like they dropped him, like as the
playwright
like,
residence.
Nobody knows what happened.
Something went down. I don't know.
Who knows? That's like the biggest mystery. Maybe you know. No, you don't.
I don't know. That I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to like me after having like a fucking moment. Anything else?
Other dream roles, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Harold Hill in The Music Man when I'm older, and Jekyll and Hyde, and Parade, Leo Frank, and Gordon in A New Brain.
I don't know that show that well, but I know Jay Groff played that role.
He did, and I was supposed to do it in college, and then the production got
Wouldn't it be great if you said Gordon Bombay from the Mighty Ducks movies?
And Benjamin Braddock in The Graduate. I love that play.
Yeah.
I love the play version. I'm too old now, but whatever.
I saw The Graduate I only have seen it once, and I never saw it up until like a couple years ago.
Uh-huh.
And my friend's like, every college graduate has to watch that movie. And I was like, I think every college graduate should watch Reality Bites.
Yeah.
Because I love that movie, and I grew up watching it, and then as soon as I graduated college and watched it again, it had a whole different meaning to me. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's interesting that films can do that.
Absolutely.
Aside from like this movie you're working on coming out, and us doing a production of The Shape of Things, which I'm like 100% here for. Yeah. Where do you see yourself in the future? Like,
I just want to keep on doing roles that excite me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you would write anymore?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself directing?
No. Yes, maybe, possibly.
That's fine.
Possibly.
I will direct The Shape of Things. I like telling people what to do.
I co-directed Ghostlight off at the Signature.
You also wrote it too, right?
Yes, and it was very hard. So
we don't have to talk about it.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful production. I'm very proud of it, and I'll always love that show. And I would love something to happen with that show at some point, but I would never direct it again. It was very hard to do that. Mm-hmm. And I directed the first couple of productions of Yes, and then I stopped doing that as well because it's very hard to direct yourself and things. Mm-hmm. I definitely I want to create more parts that excite me. I would love to play Jim Jones. You know who Jim Jones is?
Sounds familiar.
He was the cult leader of the People's Temple.
I'm nodding my head yes.
You know the Drink the Kool-Aid guy? It's just so fascinating to me. I would love to write a biopic on him. Yeah. So that's something I'm working on, like a screenplay of that. Yeah. I would definitely write again, but like I have a couple of things in the
cooker.
In the cooker.
I think there's like anything like specific in your life that kind of like led you to where you are now.
Just being exposed to the arts so young. My mom was amazing at that. Yeah. She took me to, I say this in my one-man show too, she took me to see these classical concerts every Saturday night during the summer. Mm-hmm. And I used to take like a blade of grass out and just pretend to conduct. And it was... I used to do that with spaghetti. Yeah, and that's what I used to do. And like run around with my friends catching fire, like those fireflies, firebugs, the lightning bugs. And it was like a really, just like very beautiful evenings in the summer of classical music. And she took me to see theater very young, and we watched a lot of movie musicals and stuff, and I got into it very, very young. And I feel like if I didn't start when I started, I wouldn't be here now. Mm-hmm. But I think everyone has a different path. A lot of people start later, but for me, that was my time. That was me. That was my childhood. My childhood was not normal. Yeah. Well,
that's kind of why I like having different people on the podcast, because everybody has a different story to tell, and everybody has a different journey and different thing that they do in theater or film or what have you. So before we get into the Actor Studio questions, we're gonna play my other favorite thing called Review It. So you just said I don't remember what you said you recently just saw Medea.
Medea, a different production of Medea.
Yes. No, I mean, if you want to talk about this one, or you can talk about something else, or multiple things.
Well, it's I've been very busy, so I haven't been to the theater as much as I'd like to recently.
It has to be like a film.
It's, no, like, talk about it.
It
was great. Medea with Rose Byrne and Bobby Cannavale. And Dylan Baker, by the way.
Who did you be like, hey, I'm here?
I'm here.
Bye.
I have met him, but I didn't meet him when I saw Medea.
Do you think he was bitter that he lost?
Nah, maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know.
I was watching, like, sometimes I'm on YouTube and I'll just, like, stumble upon stuff, and they were talking about to Jennifer Lawrence, like, when she won the Oscar, and he's like, did you want to win? She's like, yeah, I wanted to win. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, cool. He's like, you're competitive like that. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, there's also been times, like, with joy, like, I'm happy that these people won because they deserved it. I was like, all right.
Well, the last week when I was in South Carolina and I beat Dylan Baker, I wanted to win.
Yeah. Like, I want to beat Dylan Baker.
I wanted to beat Dylan Baker.
Would it have made a difference
Dylan
that,
Baker,
like, if you lost to anybody? Like, would you have been like, motherfucker?
No, because everyone was so talented. It was a really good group.
Yeah.
It was a really amazing group.
Yeah.
And I've been like, everyone was really just very happy to be there.
Let's talk about Medea. I enjoy a Bobby Cannavale.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed a Bobby Cannavale.
So they updated it.
Yeah, I saw photos that are like modern clothing.
Modern clothing, different
Didn't she,
names.
Kill everyone?
Yes.
That's Medea.
It's Medea. It's the same exact story as Medea, but as if it's a modern day couple going through a divorce.
She kills the kids and the husband, right?
She doesn't kill the husband. She kills the kids.
With a gun or a knife? Do you see it?
You don't see it in this production. It's usually because it's Euripides and it's Greek. There was no guns, so it's usually knives. But in this production, there was just dirt that was falling. It was very beautiful and eerie. It was a completely white stage. This is at BAM in Brooklyn, by the way, if you want to see it.
I don't really do Brooklyn because I'm claustrophobic. But they're doing.
I live there, so.
They're doing a production of Cyrano de Bergerac that James McAvoy did.
James McAvoy,
and I just want to say, and I've said this for years, James McAvoy just needs to fucking come to Broadway already.
Agreed. I love him.
He's like, just screw BAM. I mean, I feel like that's a very BAM production. I don't know how well it will play on Broadway. But maybe he can't sell Broadway tickets. I don't know. But in my head, like...
I'm sure he can.
I think if this was like a couple of years... Because one of my dream roles is Catherine in Proof. And I've always said, like, he would actually be a really good Hal, James McAvoy. But I think he's too old for it now. And I think Mark Rylance would be very good as the father.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'm very good at casting.
Yeah, he would be.
But I also cast myself in everything, so...
Of course, me too.
Yeah, getting back to Medea.
So it's like this dirt is falling all throughout. It's one act, and this dirt starts falling down. Before you know it, there's a big pile of dirt. And it's almost like her whole world is getting claustrophobic and closing in on her. And when she, quote-unquote, kills the kid, she basically is just slowly doing her final monologue, burying them in the dirt. And that's all you see as, like, the final image. It's really quite something. Rose Byrne is, who I really had just known from comedy stuff, like Bridesmaids, is truly spectacular in it. Yeah. Truly spectacular. The chemistry with her and Bobby Cannavale, of course, they're together in real life. Their chemistry is amazing, and she absolutely tears the house down. She's amazing.
Do you think they'll bring it to Broadway?
No, because it's not selling as well as they wanted it to. I know someone who works at BAM who said that it's not selling as many tickets. I got to go for free.
It's actually on TDF.
Yeah, and my friend works for BAM, so I got to go for free. So, yeah, I don't think they'll bring it to Broadway because of the ticket sales.
Yeah, but they're also
and also because of their schedules.
I think they're doing a reading of The View from the Bridge.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we need another fucking production of that.
No,
I'm sorry. I just, like...
No,
it's the same thing with, like, Last Menagerie and West Side Story.
Yes.
And it's, like, nothing against his new production. I haven't seen it. I don't know if I even feel like I want to, but I really like the idea of Isaac Powell as Tony.
Yeah.
Because I think he's very talented.
Yeah.
And I think this production is kind of like the last revival of Oklahoma, where you're either going to really like it or you're not going to like it.
Loved it.
I'm kind of on the fence of it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. There were certain aspects I really liked, some I didn't love. But, I mean...
I loved it because I don't like Oklahoma to begin with very much, and this was like not seeing Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too. Somebody said like they shouldn't have like done that with Oklahoma. The director should have done that with something like Carousel.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think I loved what he did with it. I really did. Yeah. Carousel is already kind of dark enough.
Yeah. But it's covered up very well with choreography.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just, like, we don't need another production of, I mean, the last production they did of View from the Bridge was, like, fucking incredible. The same guy who is doing West Side Story. Yeah, because it, like,
See, literally... I like the one with Liev Schreiber and Scarlett Johansson.
I like that one, too. I will say, though, that I missed his death scene because I had, like, rush partial view seats, so, like, Jessica Hecht was in front of me when, like, he died. Yeah.
Jessica Hecht, move!
I love her. She's so good. Yeah. Okay, so... Anything else you'd like to say about Medea?
Just, you should see it. It's really spectacular.
How's Bobby Cannavale?
Great. Wonderful.
He did a show called The Big Knife on Broadway.
Yeah, my friend said he was great. I didn't see it.
With Marin Ireland.
Oh, I love her.
I fucking love her. Well, I was introduced to her by, not like literally, but Reasons to Be Pretty.
Yeah, that's
one of my dreams.
So
I have an unrealistic dream list on my phone, and one of them is to do a Realbuto show with Tom Sadowski.
Well, he's just...
Yeah.
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 Did you ever watch Life in Pieces?
No, but I know he was on it. I follow him on Instagram.
I went to high school with Zoe Lister-Jones, who's on that show.
I saw her. No, did I see her? I also love The Little Dog Laugh.
Yeah, I saw her in that.
Yeah, my role that I will be playing when I'm older is Diane.
Yeah, it's a great part.
Every single person I know is like, I saw the show with a friend of mine in college, and she turns to me, she goes, "You're playing that role one day."
It's a great part.
You're gonna play that role. Yeah. Of course, like the year after I graduated college, there was like somebody in the directing department decided to direct that show. And I'm like, well, I can't go back. But the person they cast is really good.
Same thing happened to me in high school. They did The Music Man as soon as I graduated. Yeah. It's my dream role. Well, musical dream role.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So.
Okay.
Welcome to the Faux Inside the Actors Studio.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So we're going to do now and forever how long this podcast is going to go on, because I'm sure you've always wanted to be asked these questions. I know I have. Yeah. And I just think it's nice to kind of keep the tradition going.
I probably have the answers already in my head.
Oh, I do too. Don't worry, because I would think one day I would be on Actors Studio. It never happened. Well, I was. I asked Matt Damon a question, but... That's another story. Yeah, I have a YouTube clip. If you YouTube Matt Damon Unstuck on you, it's me asking him a question. Anyway, So let's start. Number 1, what is your favorite word?
Maybe I don't have a answer.
We can make it loose. You can say more than one. There's more than one word I don't make, so...
My favorite word is probably harmony.
Cute. What is your least favorite word?
Failure.
What turns you on?
Theater. Really good theater.
That's good. Yeah. Like
Medea.
What turns you off? Really bad theater?
No, people who are very full of themselves.
Like many actors.
Yeah, like many actors.
What sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of when I'm backstage about to do a show and the audience chatter and the orchestra warming up. It's my favorite sound in the whole world.
What sound or noise do you hate? The cell phone going off.
Yeah, no, it's like car alarms in the middle of the night.
What's your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
It's so good.
Yeah, so you could use it for anything.
Thank you. Again, that's why we're like no friends. What profession other than yours would you like to attempt?
A teacher. Yeah.
You can do it. I mean, acting.
I do it. I do acting teachers. Yeah, acting teaching on the side. Acting. I do teach acting on the side, but I think even just teaching in general would be something great.
What profession other than yours would you like not? Again, there I go again. Not being able to speak. What profession would you not like to do?
Anything that's a 9 to 5. I have to sit at a desk the whole day.
But what a way to make a living.
What a way to make a living.
I'm so happy you did with the nails. Because that's how she wrote the song, y'all.
That's how she wrote it.
With her nails.
Yeah.
And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would love him or her to say, we lost all the files from your teenage years, so come on in.
And so the final question that I try to ask people as like a final, but then we end up rambling. Why do you think theater is important?
Oh God.
I love everybody's reaction.
It's so
when
loaded.
Ask,
it's so loaded.
No, I seriously, every time I ask that question, I'd love to see people's reactions to that question, and I just also find it interesting because like every person's question, like answer is a little bit different.
Okay, not only is theater brings people together in an environment that's live. Mm-hmm. You know, it brings audience and actor together. Not only is it's connective, like, you know, it connects people. It connects people for life. When you're in a show together. Like I think doing like high school theater and stuff, or like community theater, you make like lifelong friends. Mm-hmm. For some reason, when you go through a process of doing a show, something happens. There's like a magic relationship that you don't really get when you just meet people other ways. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to explain it, but then when you actually do a play and it's actor and audience and like it's that give and take, and there's nothing like it in the whole world. That like you could see a movie, but that person's not really there, mm-hmm. getting your energy. So it's the energy of the room. And it's just like togetherness. It's so important nowadays. And getting out of the real world, going inside, and experiencing something magical that's only going to happen once. Granted, they do the show over and over again, but mm-hmm. that performance is only going to happen once. I'm only going to scratch my eye during that line, or you know what I mean, little things.
It's interesting that you say that, because I don't remember who said it, where I heard it, or anything. But this was like a few weeks ago, where somebody was like, the difference with like film and TV and theater is that like that lives forever.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same performance every time you watch it, but with theater, it's always different.
Exactly. I mean, I've seen my movie about I can't even countless times now. I can't change it. I watch it. I can't change anything.
Do you like watching yourself?
No. No, not really. I've gotten used to it by now, mm-hmm. but it's not pleasurable.
Yeah.
But I'm used to it. I'm used to watching myself in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can watch bootlegs, you can watch, you know, but it's not that magical once in a lifetime experience that you're experiencing with everyone in the room. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes theater so important.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we end this podcast?
Oh, I feel like a lot of people don't respect art enough, or the craft of art, and it's really not just for entertainment purposes. And go see it. You know, go see art in any way, shape, or form you can get to see it. I know it's expensive, but
there are ways to get.
There are ways to get in cheaper, and it really will change you. It really does. It really will change you. And soapbox for 1 second. It's an actual profession. Mm-hmm. Don't ever say to an actor or anyone working in the theater or on film, like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I just did I just did a film. Oh, but what do you really do for a living? Because not everyone is Jennifer Lawrence. You know what I mean?
I went to the opening night of Something Rotten, and I met a composer, one of actually the composers of The Prom, but I was also a huge fan of The Wedding Singer.
Me too. I love The Wedding Singer.
Yeah, this was also like just after the anniversary concert that they had at 54 Below, which was like probably one of the most joyous nights I had. And this guy was there with his girlfriend, who was like very like beautiful, very lovely. And I was like, oh, I just went to the Wedding Singer concert. He's like, how was it? I was like, it's one of the most joyous moments of my life. And we hugged. And I started talking to his girlfriend. I was like, oh, so what do you do? And she's like, oh, I'm a dancer. And she kind of seemed like she was a little ashamed of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great. Like, good for you, you know? And I think maybe sometimes people in the industry, because of what you just said, might feel like bashful or ashamed of the fact that
don't feel ashamed that, like, I'm a dancer, I'm an actor, I'm a singer. That's what you are.
Yeah,
that's your profession. That's your profession. It's not a side gig, mm-hmm. You know, like even sometimes if I tell people, like, for example, today, like I'm going to do an interview, I'm going to do a podcast. Oh, what are you going to talk about? Like, like somebody said to me, like, oh, you're going on an interview for a job or something? I'm like, no, I'm going to talk about my career and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, people don't get, like, this is, it's not a hobby.
Yeah.
This is not a hobby. And a lot of people think that if you're an actor, it's a hobby. And that drives me crazy. Well, what's your real job? You know what I mean? I hate that question.
I remember I was like working at a hotel and some woman was like, how much do like actors make on Broadway? And she's like, I can't believe they don't make like $100,000 a year. And she like couldn't comprehend the fact that people make less than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, just treat it as a real profession. And if you're not in the arts, just absorb as much of it as you can. That's really all I got to say. I mean, it's a really special, special thing. Yeah. And I think we need to respect it more in this country and stop cutting arts programs.
Well, I mean, let's not get political on this podcast.
No, I just mean I think every kid needs to.
Because we can go there, but we're not.
I just think every young kid should really have an outlet to experience it if they want.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's a lovely way to end the podcast. So, you know, when Yes is streaming, or hopefully in theaters by the end of the summer, please go and
probably
see
around
it.
August.
Follow Tom Realbuto on the Instagram, because on Facebook he has a different name. I'm not going to share what it is.
It's Tim Realbuto Official is my Instagram.
And then also Theater Enthusiast Podcast is...
Theater Enthusiast Podcast.
Theater with an ER. Yeah, get over it, guys.
ER?
ER, not RE. I prefer an ER, but people like an RE... To each its own.
To each your own.
But when I'm writing down theater locations for guests, I do write RE.
RE. Yeah.
RE. Imagine if somebody, like, this is my friend, RE. Anyway, so, all right. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast. Until next time, and, you know, yes.
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 Yes.